Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's Podium eSports coverage of the 5th race for Season 5 of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. Tonight, it's the Joey Mendoza Memorial live from iRacing's virtual Eldora Speedway in New Weston, Ohio. I'm Blake McCandless alongside Kenneth Bueno and Jacob Hitz on the call with me tonight. And guys, I know we've had a little bit of downtime. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been back here. We've had a lot of time to decompress after Texas, and well, guess what? It doesn't really get too much easier when we approach tonight and go into Eldora and dirt street stocks.
That's definitely not true, Blake. This race is the first dirt race in a while. It's been almost a full season since these guys have taken to this type of surface as opposed to the asphalt, but Texas, unbelievable racing, lots of big crashes, lots of crazy moments, and of course Presley Sora getting his second win of the season. But usually we call those races the wild card. I think tonight's the wild card. It's a dirt race, it's all up in the air, dirt street stocks, very hefty and very interesting cars to race around. So we're gonna have an up in the air showdown here tonight from Ohio.
We certainly are, Jacob. I think that's what we have to look forward to tonight is we're going dirt racing. So you have a lot of drivers who really love the oval asphalt things. They really love getting on the road courses, but there are some drivers that this is their scratch, this is their itch, this is their opportunity to take advantage coming out to a dirt track in Eldora.
There's no doubt about it. We know how close Gary Sexton has come to winning on Monday Night Racing, and of course it's been at the dirt tracks where he has really come to fruition on the racetrack. The lone dirt race on the schedule for this year, so for him it's his lone shot. If you're gonna win, if you're gonna make the playoffs, it might be tonight for the driver of that one machine in Gary Sexton. And he's not the only one that I think circled this race on the calendar thinking this was their best shot to win and put themselves in the playoffs, because you know, we had the road course race earlier on at Watkins Glen. This is our lone dirt race right here in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I think Gary Sexton is as good as anybody that is a favorite tonight, coming into tonight in this Monday Night Racing Pro Series. But, guys, I think we have to go back and take a look at everything that happened at Texas. There was a lot that happened. It's Radicals, Texas, a great mainstay M&R combo. The last 8 or 10 laps of that were absolutely wild. We have to run it back once again for you. They are 4 wide back there in the middle of 1 and 2 for about the 15th position. Up front, stacked up 2 wide. There's not a whole lot of places you can go to try to make up those spots. That third lane not quite working. Somebody's going to go all the way down to the tire barrier in turn 3.
Rogers. Oh, and it did one! Oh, Will Rogers just bulldozed the back half of the field. One car flipping through the grass. That's Seth Eggert. He lands on all 4s. Oh, Brandon Brown goes to the pit road. Gary Sexton is stopped. He's involved in this crash. Adam Cabot gets a piece of it. Will Rogers, full sends only. He sent it a little too hard, and that brings out the caution.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Will Rogers thought was going to happen there. I mean, you go down to the bottom, you make the move, and then you kind of stall out your momentum and kind of could have rode that out on the apron a little bit longer, but just, I mean, quite frankly, just rose back up into traffic, and there's about 15 cars, 2 or 3 wide. I mean, what do you think's going to happen when you make this move?
I mean, maybe he was just hoping for some space to open up for him and these guys would watch out, but ultimately it did not happen. And you were right, Blake, a lot of more space to just keep himself there. I was almost thinking that Rogers was going to hold it all up until the O'Reilly Auto Parts sign and then try to merge safely back into traffic, but unfortunately just drifted a little bit too high up on the racetrack and caught a lot of drivers in it. That's really our first big one apart from the earlier one in this race. Seth Eggert goes for the wildest ride, no doubt of them all, barrel rolling through the infield grass on the front straightaway. And it's just a huge toll for a majority of the drivers. We were going to have a finish there within 5 laps to go. Presley Sora trying to hold off the rest of the field, but unfortunately, he's going to have to stack it up and manage the restart with under 5 laps to go.
And it sets up a mad dash to the end. And we're getting word from race control. It will be Will Rogers that was the cause of caution, so he'll be put at the tail end of the field. Saw Adam Cabot, looks like he has exited the server, so going to be another DNF to add to Preston Pardis. And I think Ford Martin is rolling on pit road right now, although he is 9 laps down. It looks like Cabot going to be the second casualty of this race. Still amazed that we have 37 cars on track.
Xfinity Series Brandon Brown has also parked the car. He's done for the night as well. So add another one to the scrapyard. That's 3, I believe. Doesn't look like Michael Massey is on the track either. Yeah, no, he's on pit road. So that might be another one that might be done for the night. Not quite sure. He's already used his fast repair. So
might just be so. Although at this point, if you have a fast repair left, I mean, it's great that you have that in the back pocket, but at this point, it's go time right now. We're going to restart, and actually, we just got the 1 to go signal, so they're going to double up right now. So it looks like we'll have 4 to go on the drop of the green flag. If we can see it through to the white, we'll go through and race it back to the checkered flag. And, of course, if anything happens here over the next 3 or 4 laps that brings out a yellow flag, can't imagine that would happen, we will go into Monday Night Racing overtime.
yes, we will go into overtime. Good thought, Blake.
If something happens, you got to put the if in there.
I think this is
yes.
This is more of a when than an if.
I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case. I think the odds just went up now that we get another restart right here. But change up front, it was Sora, Alfredo. So you have 2 winners on the front row. You have Carruth, who has not won a race here in Season 5 just yet. He restarts 3rd. Bickford in 4th with a win. So 3 of your winners in the top 4. How do they play this out knowing that, well, they can be extra aggressive just trying to add to that 1 column. Green flag in the air. Sora, a great jump. 4 laps to go here at Texas.
And that was not a great restart for the outside lane whatsoever. It appears that Alfredo got stuck in front of James Bickford, and now Bickford will switch to the inside behind Raja Carruth, so he'll slip in a 3rd, bringing Colin Fern. Now bringing another one, it appears Matt Stolnick is also trying to make a move down low with help from Brian Boris Cook. Almost contact between himself and Fast Pasta. Here comes Carruth outside in turn 3 for the lead.
Oh, and they're going to make some contact a couple of times there as Carruth shot up to the outside.
One car goes flying! I saw somebody fly past my screen. That's David Shieldhouse upside down. He is still tumbling. Lands up against the inside wall. On my screen, I was following the leaders, and I just saw this flash of green go flying past. He got turned by Case Kallenbach and then got launched by Mike Clay. And David Shieldhouse was clear for takeoff in corner number 4. That was a hellacious crash for the driver of the 20. He has not used his fast repair, though, so he's in good condition. The problem is he has to tow, and he's got to do it soon if he wants to stay on the lead lap. He's just stuck on top. Now he's going to tow. He's got to hope that that's not too long because the leaders are in the middle of 3 and 4 right now, coming to the exit of 4. But we're going to Monday Night Racing overtime.
Yeah, I think that tow is going to take too long for Shieldhouse to get back. We might be able to see him back in if we get about 3 green-white checkers, but again, he needs a lot to happen right now. That tow is going to take quite a bit of time, going to lose probably 1 or 2 laps, so I'm not sure if he can get back on the lead lap. That's kind of the downside of playing that conservative strategy, that if you're back there and there's not a whole lot of time, sometimes you get caught up in a mess. And unfortunately for David Shieldhouse, who is running very well in the points this year, this night's not going to contribute to that.
And it also isn't going to contribute to Brad Perez. I mean, Perez is still on the track in 16th, but it hasn't been the greatest night for both Shieldhouse and Perez, who are leading the point standings below the guys Alfredo, Sora, and Bickford with a race win. So ultimately, things are going to hurt here for Shieldhouse. I don't exactly know how many points he's going to lose going into the next race, but you think about the drivers that are up front with a chance to kind of take those points off of him. Colin Fern, you think about right now James Bickford still in the front, Anthony Alfredo, Brian Boris Cook. You think about Matt Stolnick, who is 13th on the cut line right now. Max Kennan, who is 11th in the cut line going into tonight's race. And there are some drivers even beneath the top 10 that still have a shot. Nick Olson, who is 12th in the standings. And a bunch of other drivers that could take it all away. So it hasn't been the greatest night overall for Shieldhouse, and I think it just hasn't been the greatest for our picks, guys. It's been tough.
It has been really tough. I think out of those picks, I mean, Baldick's almost up to back.
He's
up
the only
to
one left.
Yeah, I'd say, you know.
Well, Malillo, he's P11.
Oh, well, there you go. We're wrong right there. So.
Yeah, but that's 2 of the 3 now that have literally gone flying. Malillo flew, and now Showdown. So Baldick's the only one that hasn't gotten his wings. Blake, I got bad news for you.
Oh no. Well, we got several opportunities for everyone to get their wings here as we're going to go to Monday Night Racing overtime, the first of a potential 3 green-white checkers. When the caution flag flew, Raja Caruth was nearly in front of Presley Sora, but didn't quite have it, so he'll go back to second for this restart. But we know Caruth, he has made the outside work. So if there's one driver I think that has the opportunity to win from that outside row and make it work, I think Caruth can do a good job of that. We saw a lot of contact there at the front between Sora and Caruth. Imagine that may continue here in these last few laps. Sora, Caruth, Bickford, Fern. Your top 4, Alfredo, Cook, Stallneck, Kinnan, Smithley, and Olsen. Your top 10, a whole host of names behind them that are going to get everything they can in these last few laps. How low do they go? How high do they go? We're about to find out. This is going to be, I think, the craziest finish we're going to see here in season 5. Craziest finish of the year already, counting it right now.
If it's paved, they're running on it. Even if it's not paved, I think they're going to try and drive on it. But if it's flat, they're going for it.
I wouldn't be shocked to see that grass come into play here at the end. Caruth blinked, but he's back now. Solid. Green flag is out. Yep, there's the grass. It's coming into play right now. Sora gets the lead. Caruth going to get in line, but Sora got a little bit too big of a lead. Caruth looks low. Sora throws the block.
It was a huge block right there in front of Colin Fern, and James Bickford was wheeling his Radical in the grass in the quad. Well, now here comes Max Kennan to the inside. He's underneath Brian Boris Cook. Caruth goes down. He goes high. Fern, the third car, and it into turn 3.
Caruth down to the outside. Sora holding it strong there on the bottom. If they get to the white flag, they'll see it through to the end, and it's looking like that might happen. White flag in the air. Can Sora hang on for win number 2 of Season 5?
Restart is under review. Let's see if we get a ruling before this thing is said and done. It's all Presley Sora out in front looking for win number 2. Colin Fern looking for redemption as the restart's determined clear. Here comes Bickford down on the inside. They are almost 4 wide. They are 4 wide for a second. They make contact. They're 5 wide through turns 3 and 4 as Sora leads them around.
Oh, Alfredo's going to turn. Oh, and Sora nearly got hooked off a turn.
Here comes Kennan.
Here comes Max Kennan. He's going to go to the grass and to the line. It is going to be Presley Sora over Colin Fern and Max Kennan. So Sora gets it done for win number 2 here in Season 5. And right behind them, Sora nearly got taken out in 3 and 4, but he hangs on as they were 4 wide for second. I told you we weren't lying about that finish at Texas last week, ladies and gentlemen. That finish was absolutely crazy. 4 wide for second. I think they were 5 and 6 at one point. And out of all of that, at the top of the heap, and not only that, it's his second win here in Season 5 of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. It was Presley Sora that visited Victory Lane at Texas, and he's caught up with Jacob Hitz.
Presley Sora, the winner from 2 weeks ago with the Radicals at Texas. I know you've talked about it already this year when you got the win back at Martinsville, that Mooncars helped you along the way in your success with Monday Night Racing.
Oh yeah, Mooncar has been, man, especially with the Miatas there at Martinsville, that was the biggest help that I had. No matter how much testing I did and practice in the week leading up to it, it was all just down to all my Mooncar experience because he runs those, you know, every 2 or 3 weeks he'll do a Martinsville race, and he's big on the Miatas there. So whenever we'd run those, I just get accustomed to doing it, and then that really helped me there. But just the wildness of the races and the combos with Monday Night Racing, it's similar to Mooncar. So that kind of unknown factor from Mooncar helps me in this as well.
How about the unknown for tonight, the dirt streak stocks here at Eldora? I think you have a little bit of experience, again, with Mooncar, with these things here, but you've got a lot of different drivers around you tonight.
Oh yeah, the driver pool tonight is completely different to what we have in Mooncar, but we have done this before, and it's really, really fun. I was just turning practice laps, and you're going to see people running the fence literally inches off of the wall, sometimes getting into the wall, and then people all the way down on the bottom, almost at the pit entrance, running the inside wall, and it's going to be a really fun race. There's going to be slide jobs, door banging. It's going to be a good show.
What do you think? You have a shot to take that 98 to victory lane. You're batting 500 on the year right now. Get another third win here tonight?
I'm ready. I've got my jerky from Club Jerky here, and I got my Makoni Setup Shop gloves, and I have my custom shirt from 213simware.com, and I'm ready to put it in victory lane. I'm going for playoff points and trying to secure myself into the next round for the first round of playoffs once we get there, and I basically just want to have a bye. So I'm going to go out there, and I got nothing to lose. So I can throw sliders, haymakers, it doesn't matter because I'm already locked in. So I'm ready to go.
Well, once again, congratulations on the win from Texas. Best of luck tonight, and potentially we'll talk to you at the end of this deal.
Yep, thanks. And the most important thing about tonight is we're racing for Joey Mendoza in his memory. So we just want to put on a good show for him and his family, and just in remembrance of him. And I also want to give a big happy birthday to Justin Malillo, one of our racers in here tonight, too.
Presley Sora, the winner from 2 weeks ago at Texas, trying to pick up win number 3 tonight here at Eldora. Blake?
Presley Sora getting it done, and as you said, not going to take his foot off the gas, proverbially speaking, as he is ready to try and supplement those playoff points and have a really good push to try and win this Season 5 championship. But one of my favorite segments here in this pre-race show is getting to know the drivers that sit behind these screens and behind these virtual wheels. And Max Kennan is one of those great drivers. I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person. He's got a really interesting story. Let's take a look at it.
He is tied for the all-time most playoff appearances, looking to add that number here in season number 5. Max Kennan, glad to have you on here. And first and foremost, you are someone who, we have a few guys who say that they are not mechanically inclined. You are someone who definitely is. What exactly do you do in the motorsports industry?
I'm a setup engineer for JTG Racing. I show up to the shop on Monday. We'll get a setup sheet or initial build, and they'll tell us what to put in it. I'll measure the car to make sure that those setup sheets are correct and it's doing what they want to the car. I'll give them what I measured. They'll run that through sim. We do that maybe 1 or 2, 3 times. By the time the truck needs to leave, we should be pretty close to where our numbers were supposed to be.
And in your motorsports career, how did you get to this? What did your ladder look like coming up through the ranks?
Well, my dad is a crew chief in NASCAR, so ever since I was a baby, basically I've been at the racetrack learning things. Well, I've been a part of the team that's won 2 snowball derbies, one in 2014 with John Hunter Nemechek, and this last year at Donnie Wilson's with Chandler Smith. That was I didn't realize how special it was the first time in 2014. But then this last year when we won, I realized just how special it is to the super late model community.
So you have a little bit of on-track, real-world racing experience, a little bit of dirt stuff at Millbridge. Where did you find the opportunity to race a little bit of dirt stuff? And can you take some of that experience, put it into Monday Night Racing a little bit here and there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's actually a funny story. In early 2011, I went to Millbridge to watch some box stock racing, the Mini Outlaws there, right when they were getting started going. And Ford Martin was running those box stocks, and they had an extra one. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So we bought that extra one from them, him and his dad, Gil, and we just got it ramped up and rolling within maybe a month or 2, and we were on the track in 2012 racing with Ford and everybody. So I really want to run a micro 600, what they run at Millbridge nowadays.
you're also one of the very few winners in Monday Night Racing.
Max Kennan had to win to secure his place in the round of 7, and he will do just that, going to victory lane for the first time at Rockingham.
Take me back to getting that win, being in victory lane, a virtual victory lane, and being able to name yourself a Monday Night Racing winner.
I literally was in the top 5 for most of the race, I believe. And a few races before that, we ran street stocks at Phoenix. And I made the mistake of pitting. And in Rockingham, I didn't pit whatsoever. So I kept track position the whole time. And we had maybe, I think, 3 or 4 green-white checkers in that race. And I didn't know I had won till off of turn 4 because I remember Brandon Brown finished 2nd. And he was closing in quick. So, but luckily I got off 4 and got the dub.
Great to hear from Maxwell Kennan, and of course, we always love to hear from Devin Henry, who does an amazing job talking to these drivers throughout the week before we get to know them. But luckily, we get the opportunity to follow up on that as we bring Maxwell Kennan up here into the virtual broadcast booth. And Max, first off, Eldora dirt. We saw that you have a little bit of experience in Millbridge. You think that dirt experience will pay off for you tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main thing is just knowing what to do when the track changes, and you got to constantly adapt to the conditions. So I feel like I'm well prepared for that tonight.
I'm sure that dirt experience definitely plays into that and going to be a key factor in your performance tonight. But Max, you kind of have the distinct honor of doing kind of both sides of the table here. You talked about your real-world racing experience in that piece a little bit. You're working on the mechanical side of things. Do you still kind of have that itch, though, to maybe get back in the race car if the opportunity presents itself in the real world?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing I've always wanted to do more than drive a race car ever since I was little. I know you had the opportunity to do it too, and I actually laughed when I heard what you said on the racetrack about that being the coolest thing you've ever done in your life, because I feel like that would be the same exact thing I would say if I was out there doing what you were doing.
Yeah, I will say it's it's a thrill and a bug. I know some of the comments that I've seen after that I've read after that is I'm going to get the bug, and unfortunately I think I got it. So
yeah.
Terrible financial decision. But anyways, Max, I also know how desperate you are to try and get a win here in the season. You won at Rockingham a couple of seasons ago. Heck, yeah. you almost cut the course last week getting to the line to try to get to victory lane. How much does it mean to try and get a win and lock yourself into the playoffs at this point of the year?
I just think it's more of a security blanket at this point. I mean, I've made the playoffs every year I've been in MNR, and for 3 of those seasons, it's been just off being consistent and being in points. So I just feel like once I get a win, I could focus more on the rest of the season and gearing up for the playoffs rather than worrying about being able to make the playoffs leading up to it. So I feel like a win is crucial in having the right mindset going into the playoffs.
All right, Max, well, we won't waste any more of your time. I know you're up there in terms of practice time. I know the track's kind of slicked off since then, but definitely not looking bad on the speed charts. But hopefully we'll see you up front and riding clean tonight.
Oh, yeah. We'll see some fireworks, hopefully.
Certainly so. I know, actually, they fire off the pyrotechnics here at Eldora Speedway, even in the sim when they get rolling here. But, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side of this break, it is the Monday Night Racing Season 5 presented by Interstate Batteries as we get rolling for the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora Speedway.
This is an Interstate battery. More pros trust this than any other out there. Yeah, more pros. More. Even more pros. Keep going. Mas. Look, we're gonna run out of time before we run out of pros who like Interstate. I mean, we'll run out of time before we even run out of left-handed pros who knit. These pros are everywhere, which means so is this battery. Right around the corner, up the street. Everywhere. Interstate batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Hey Josh, I just want you to know that obviously everyone at Monday Night Racing is thinking about you and your family. I was able to meet you and your parents down at the Daytona 500 this year because our league, a lot of us get to meet each other at races because we go to a lot of the same tracks. Your parents were some of the nicest people I met. It was amazing meeting you. We were able to go out to dinner, all of us guys, and you were just a really great, really cool guy to talk racing with, and we really enjoy having you on race control. I really enjoy because I never get in trouble by you. But well, hurry back to race control. Take your time though. Be with your family. We're still gonna be thinking about you, but I can't wait to hear you and see you back in race control on Monday nights.
Hey Josh, we're thinking of you and the whole Mendoza family. We're really sorry for your loss and hope to put on a good show in memory of your brother tonight.
Hey guys, it's DJ. Just wanted to send my condolences out to the Mendoza family after hearing about the passing of Joey. It was deeply saddened to hear that. Just wanted to let y'all know that we in the M&R community are thinking about y'all, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the Mendoza family during this very difficult time.
Hey Josh, I know I'm not alone in saying we're all thinking about you and your family during this incredibly difficult time. We're going to do the best we can to put on a great race for you tonight, and we're just wishing you all the best.
Hey Josh, it's Ron Capps. Just want to tell you, as part of the Monday Night Racing family, we're thinking about you, brother.
Hey Josh, from everyone here at Monday Night Racing, and not just the sim racing community, we want to send our deepest thoughts, condolences, and prayers to you and your family during this troubling time. Tonight is not about just racing. Tonight's about honoring your brother and thinking about you and your family right now. So we love you, brother, and looking forward to having you back in race control here soon.
Hey Josh, it's Gary. Just want to let you know on behalf of myself and everyone at Podium, we're really thinking about you during this, unimaginable hard time that you and your family's going through, and look forward to having you back with us and getting back to doing the things that you enjoy to do, and go out there and win this one for your brother tonight.
We want to welcome you back to the virtual Eldora Speedway as we roll along with Podium eSports coverage of the 5th race for Season 5 of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. The Joey Mendoza Memorial rolling off from Eldora tonight in New Weston, Ohio. Late McCandless, Kenneth Bueno, and Jacob Hitz on the call with you tonight. And of course, Kenneth and Jacob racing with heavy hearts tonight, as we all are here at Monday Night Racing. The one thing about the sim racing community, no matter which part of it you are in, is that it is a family, and obviously coming together to support a great family and unfortunately a soul that has gone too soon.
I can echo that, your words, Blake. The fact that, being in this community for a couple of years, you realize just how much the people band together when things like these happen, and to give support. And I feel like that's what we're doing tonight. We're banding together. We're mustering all that we can to give our support to not only Josh Mendoza, but his family as well. I know they're going through such an unimaginable time, of course, and not expecting it to happen whatsoever. So, our job, we're trying to support, and obviously that's what we're going to do, our thoughts and prayers with him and his family as well. Hopefully we get to do things right and have a great race in his honor.
Hopefully so, and I know even this story close to my heart, as I actually raced a Lemons race with Joey last year. He was a big part of a reunion with me and my brother that otherwise wouldn't have happened. First time we had seen each other in 3 years. He did so much work on that car to get it ready and prepared and allow us to have that experience. So Joey, Jacob, just somebody who was willing to do the right thing and again, ask for nothing in return.
There's no doubt about it, and I think everybody that's here is running with heavy hearts tonight. And I know us here on the production side of things are in the same boat. So our thoughts are with Josh and his family, no doubt about it. And looking forward to whenever Josh is to come back. We're gonna miss him, but he deserves time away.
Certainly so, and we're thinking about him, and we wish him the best as his family continues to deal with everything that's transpired over the last week. And, of course, we want to thank all the drivers, of course, who sent their kind words and condolences as well. I know that's very appreciated by the Mendoza family. But the other thing about tonight is that Joey Mendoza, a big fan of cars, a big fan of racing, and that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. We're going to compete, we're going to race, and as Joey would have it, he wants them to full send it, and I think we'll see plenty of that tonight at Eldora.
Yeah, we'll probably see a lot of that. It's dirt, so we're gonna see some drivers send it in just a little bit, maybe too heavy, hopefully not, but at least in this case, it is going to be a fantastic one. This is the first time we've been to Eldora, guys, in a while here in Monday Night Racing, presented by Interstate Batteries. Last track we were at on the dirt was at Knoxville. This time, it's a little different look, but mostly the same story. It's a half-mile, 0.8-kilometer racetrack. 4 turns, of course. Lots of banking at this racetrack as well, owned by Tony Stewart, who actually started his career racing in dirt. 24 degrees of banking in the corners. There's 30 miles per hour on the pit road speed limit, but we won't see too much pit road strategy at a track like this. And, of course, the main thing to know, this is the first and only dirt race of the season, guys. There's a lot on the line.
Certainly a lot on the line, as it has been in every single race. That's just one thing about coming out here in Monday Night Racing in Season 5 is the intensity of every single race. A lot of these combos putting these drivers right on top of one another as these drivers continue to battle and to try and claim their spot atop the charts here. As we roll along with qualifying here at Eldora Speedway, it looks like Jacob and Kenneth were about wrapped up. The last few moments ticking away here before we get started with our heats for tonight. Of course, that's another interesting thing we'll get to talk about, Jacob, is the format that we're using for tonight. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's wild, there's no doubt about it. We've got 4 heats ready to go. We'll get into those here in just a moment. Well, make it 3 heats, actually. In those heats, we'll have 11 drivers or so, 10 or 11, since we have 32 guys. They kind of fluctuate, so I think we're going 11, 11, and 10. 10 minutes, 8 laps, 10-minute time limit. I don't think we'll hit that point. And of course, they do not have cautions in the heats. The consolation, 25 laps. 6 drivers move on from the heats. We're cutting 2 drivers tonight out from the field. 30 spots, 32 drivers ready to roll.
So running all these heats that are more or less a formality to get your starting spot for a little bit later on tonight. This is how they're going to roll off in heat number 1 after their round of qualifying. James Bickford, the number 29 for Charlotte Phoenix, rolls off from pole. He'll have Colin Fern, someone who, it doesn't matter if it's asphalt or dirt, he'll be competitive. Mark Rebellis will start on the inside of road number 2 alongside Nick Olson in the 24 machine. Ryan Vargas, he will be starting in 5th in road number 3 alongside last week's winner that you heard from earlier in our pre-race show, and Presley Sora, who will start in 6th. 7th, they'll go to George Balfans Jr., who about took victory at the Daytona International Speedway in the season opening sunrise race. Noah Lewis will start in 8th to his outside. Good to see him back out here in Monday Night Racing competition. Seth Eggert will start in 9th in road number 5 alongside Brian Boris Cook, who will start in 10th, and Matthew Stallneck will round out the back of the field. He did not put down a time in qualifying, so he will roll off from the back of heat race number 1.
It's a rather small heat, but obviously packed in with a lot of names. And one thing I'm looking for is that first row, guys. Heat number 1. We'll take a look at the weather. It's a beautiful evening, though, in New Weston, Ohio. Of course, 80 degrees in the air temp, 72 degrees on the track temp. It's a beautiful day to go racing in sim. But again, like I'm seeing up at the front of the field, it is hectic. It's boiling tempers. James Bickford, Colin Fern. Remember the beef a couple of weeks back at the Radicals of Texas? Probably not going to forget that whatsoever as they start up front in the first heat.
That's one thing we know. These drivers have had a lot of time, 5 seasons worth, as a matter of fact, to build up some storylines, a little bit of drama, to race against each other. And isn't it fitting that it seems like we don't have the virtual truck that you ride around in driver intros, but yet even in the sim world, it seems if you have beef with somebody, you may not ride around in a truck with them, but you get the exact same thing as it would be in the real world to start on the same row. So heat race number 1, again, no cautions, only 8 laps top 6 will automatically transfer into our feature for tonight. Pace car's off, green flag is in the air, and we are racing tonight here at Eldora.
Bickford, black flag. He jumped the start. He's supposed to wait until the green flag. He went before it. So Bickford, the fastest guy here, perhaps. He's going to have to come to pit road and serve a penalty because he jumped the start. Colin Fern was on the horn immediately saying Bickford jumped the start. Race control agrees, so James Bickford, he's going to drop from the front to the back.
A huge mistake there for James Bickford, who in a scenario where you're only going to drop about 1 or 2 drivers through these heats, Kenneth, it's about the last thing you needed was to have a penalty like that as you see the rest of the field starting to work their way to the top of the racetrack. Bickford still out there leading, has not served his penalty yet.
And what's going to make things worse here, Blake, for the 29 is we got contact near the rear of the field. Noah Lewis is around. Caution flag will wave. That will help the case for Bickford, but what I was about to say, it's only an 8-lap heat, so the time can wear down very, very quickly. For Bickford, that would have been the saving grace for him to at least get back in this fight and have some hope to make it into the feature via this heat alone. We'll take a look at the replay. We'll see exactly what happened to Lewis. He was running the low side along with Presley Sora, not the dominant one, as the track has worn off, is slicking off on the inside lane, but it was Matt Stolnick who got into him via getting loose on the outside, and Lewis went for a quick sprint, and he is dead last as of the moment.
Yeah, it looked like Stolnick, who again did not put a time in qualifying, Jake got a little bit loose, and even without it being too slick up there at the top of the racetrack, certainly something that can happen if you're slinging these cars. They really carry that momentum off of the corner. See it one more time, Brian Boris-Cook. You see Eggert on the inside and Stolnick on the outside, and well, there you have it.
And we have to remember with the new incident rule that we have, you get 2 incidents throughout the whole night. That includes the heats, the LCQ if you'd rin that, and the race. So you could crash in the heat, crash in the LCQ, and you'd be out just because you went through your crash limit. So these guys really have to be careful. For Lewis and for Stolnick, whoever gets the blame for that, they're going to be in a rough hole, but this definitely helps Bickford out because now everybody's going to be bunched up. He has to make it up to 6th here in the next, 2 laps to try and get himself in and keep him out of the LCQ.
You got to do it quickly. Again, caution laps are counting in these heats, so if we do get stopped by a yellow flag, it is going to eat into a lot of the time that these drivers have to try and get those starting spots for the main feature tonight. Of course, you want to start up front. Colin Fern, on this start, you're allowed to go when you please, and he's able to do just that, gets an early jump, but here comes Nick Olsen, 2 laps to go. Olsen going to try to throw it up the inside, can't quite get there. Fern holds on, and now Olsen contact for second.
A lot of contact, 3 wide in the middle of the field. That's the 94 of George Belfans Jr., Brian Boris-Cook. How about Presley Sora? They make more contact. This time, white flag in the air for Colin Fern, and they're pretty much in a dead heat battle for second on back.
It is straight calamity. Here's Olsen will throw the slider right in front of Mark Rebell as they are stacking up all behind your race leader. Going to make it easy for Colin Fern as you see 3 wide further on back in the field. The transfer spot as they cross the line looks like it's going to go to Presley Sora, that 6th driver, as Colin Fern wins, and they were about 4 wide there off of turn 2.
And that was for the transfer spot. Matt Stolnick almost came back and got in. He was just short of passing Presley Sora at the line. So Stallnick, Belfans, Bickford, Lewis, Eggert, they're all dropping to the LCQ. Everybody 6th and above, they get the shove into the feature.
98 100ths of a second, or excuse me, 98 1,000ths of a second right there. The difference for him being in or being out. But great thing about iRacing, these heats can roll on pretty quickly. We already have the grid set, and this is how they'll roll off. Will Rogers will start on pole. Stephen Ellis is outside in row 1. Bailey Turner 3rd. And, of course, who we heard from earlier, Max Kinnon, he will start in the 4th position. Gabe Wood will start in 5th. 6th will go to Rick Ware Racing's own Garrett Smithley. 7th starting spot will go to Preston Pardis, and of course Devin Henry out of Phoenix. We love to see him starting in that 8th position. Brett Baldeck for Fox and Charlotte will start in 9th. Michael Massey will start in 10th. And DJ Cummings, a couple of former NASCAR folks not taking qualifying time, as Cummings did not put a time down in qualifying. He'll start in 11th.
It's going to be a little rough for some of those guys, especially near the rear of the field. And with these heats being so short, only 8 laps, and these caution laps counting at the moment, it is only going to be tougher for them, especially with the track. It's slicking off so much. That high side is very dominant inside. You have to be pretty careful about where you pick and choose your moments, because it could be either success or chaos from there. We'll just see what happens.
Not a whole lot of time to get it done. That chaos sure to be on the docket here, as Will Rogers for Space Station Gaming will get us going. They wait until the green flag this time. Didn't want to have another moment like Bickford had at the start of heat number 1. Looks like it's clean. It's 2 wide. It's nearly 3 for the lead off of turn 2 as they work around to the backstretch. Stephen Ellis going to be able to take the lead there from the outside lane.
Stephen Ellis ripping that outside line. One car bounces it off the fence. It's Gabe Wood. Side by side for the 3rd spot. 3 wide back for the transfer. Car in the middle blinking like a Christmas tree. That's Devin Henry. Heck, he's on vacation. He's running on a mobile hotspot trying to make his way in.
We'll see if he's able to make it work right now. It could be going a lot worse, I think, for all things considered with the conditions, but nevertheless able to roll on right now in that 8th position. Looking good back there for that transfer spot, though. Gabe Wood started up in 5th, hanging on. And how about Will Rogers there, Kenneth? Started on pole, already back to 5th here on lap number 3. Not a great start for that 55.
Well, it just shows you, Blake, how fast things can happen at these dirt tracks. And he ran the inside. He had to be there because he started there on pole. Everybody else pretty much swarmed him on the opening 2 corners. And it just, again, shows you how much this track has worn off. This track was pretty much reset in qualifying, but has not been reset since, and probably will not be reset at all for the rest of this night. So Rogers trying to do the best he can. Maybe Gabe Wood can say something for 5th. But right now, he's under fire from Preston Pardis, who's trying to take the transfer away.
You can see them riding right along the cushion, trying to take every part of this racetrack that they can. That's going to be the preferred line here at Eldora until they work it in. Again, if they do not reset the track, that cushion's going to start to go away a little bit as you ride on board. We're having a battle here up for that transfer position. Here comes Preston Pardis, going to try to throw the slider to the inside, but not a huge commitment there from driver 42. He's got 3 laps to get it done. Meanwhile, they're battling for the lead up front.
And there's a big wreck off turn 2. DJ Cummings, Michael Massey is junk. Brett Baldeck got a piece of that. They're now rolling away from that accident over in turn 2. Max Kennan put a big slider on Stephen Ellis, chopped the nose off, but got the spot for the lead. Now Garrett Smithley finds himself in position number 2. And oh, by the way, I can't read and forgot when warm-ups are. Warm-ups are after all of the heats and the LCQ. The track resets for warm-ups, so the feature will have a fresh racetrack. Otherwise, Heat 3 in the LCQ, they're stuck with it, with this hot mess. White flag.
Still, oh man, Garrett Smithley riding the wall as he jumps it up, gets the right rear hooked on it on the back straightaway. That may lose him the 2nd spot, but to the checkered flag, it's going to be Maxwell Kennan utilizing that dirt experience to go up and win this race as he drove up from the 4th starting spot. Garrett Smithley in 2nd. Stephen Ellis, Bailey Turner, Will Rogers, and Gabe Wood. You can see the final results right there in their finishing position. Top 6 transfer in. Pardis, Henry, Baldeck, Massey, and Cummings going to have to do a little bit of work to try to get in a little later on in the night.
And some work for them to do in this LCQ, and it's going to be a longer LCQ. By the time we get there, it's going to be 25 laps, so there's going to be a little more wiggle room to make things happen, but everybody's ready for the 3rd heat of this night.
Rolling along here for heat number 3 is these 8-lap heats scrolling along pretty quickly. You can see road number 1, Gary Sexton, a favorite that we were talking about on our pre-race show coming into tonight. Does it by qualifying 3rd overall. He'll start in the pole of heat number 3. Adam Cabot will start to his inside. Road number 2, Landon Huffman and David Schildhaus make up road number 2. Schildhaus, actually, I want to give a shout out to him, was able to spot for Anthony Alfredo for the first time in quite a while this weekend and helped him get a pole in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So congratulations to David Schildhaus there. Brandon Brown will start to the inside in the brown row there for road number 3. Brandon Brown and Charlie Brown 5th and 6th. Happy birthday, Justin Malillo, inside row number 4. He'll roll off from 7th. Ford Martin to his outside will start in 8th. Mike Clay wondered if he was going to be able to make it out here tonight. He's able to do so starting in 9th. And Case Collin back there at the back of the field. This will be your 10-car heat, so 11 in your first 2 heats. We'll only have 10 rolling off here in heat number 3. Pace truck going to pull off here in just a moment, and it'll be Gary Sexton and Adam Cabot. And guys, I think what we saw in that last heat, if you're waiting all the way to the green flag, you almost want to be that driver on the outside. We'll see if Cabot can make it work for him. Your season champion for season 4. Not a great launch here for Gary Sexton. He's going to be 3 wide as they work into turn number 1. Contact with Landon Huffman as they work through 1 and 2.
That was bold by Landon Huffman. He's like, all right, if you're not going to go, I will. He sent it down to the bottom, kind of boot scoot and boogie that one up out of the way. He'll slide into the 3rd spot. Gary stuck in 4th. Cabot leads, and David Schildhaus right on his heels. Almost a championship battle from a season ago. Schildhaus all over the back door of that 17.
Good two-way battle here for 1st. They're also pretty hot right now for 3rd. You can see Cabot and David Schildhaus left side of your screen. You can see Landon Huffman, who's able to hold off Gary Sexton, got into the wall a little bit, but Sexton kind of riding along with so many of our pole winners, Kenneth, that haven't gotten a great launches. Now it's a 3-car battle for the lead. Here comes Landon Huffman up the inside.
Huffman to the inside. We'll see if he has anything to say out of turn 4. It won't suffice. Here comes the 17 back at it. But watch the battle for the transfer spot as Mike Clay gets hit out of turn 4 by Brandon Brown. He'll go around, and it looks like for the moment, Brown will lose out in the transfer spot. Malillo to the inside out of turn 2.
Good battle going on here for that transfer spot. Malillo throws the slider. Brown into the wall as they make contact. He's able to keep it rolling in the right direction. Lap 5 on the board. Justin Malillo in control of the transfer, and still a good battle going up here up front. We're going to have to keep our eyes on everything that's going on as Cabot and David Schildhaus right on each other as they're riding that cushion.
Oh, and Malillo just dumped Charlie Brown. He hates every... Oh, man. I mean, you put Brandon Brown on the wall, and they turn Charlie Brown around for the 5th spot. Ford Martin and Case Kallenbacher trying not to wreck getting around him. So Malillo's now in 5th. And right back here to the front, David Schildhaus is still beating on the door. Can't get by Cabot. 2 to go here at the line.
Well, the birthday boy taking some privileges there. As you see now, a 4-car battle right up front. Everybody running lockstep into that wall. A little fishtail out of the Huffman machine as he tags the right rear end of the wall. They'll work off of turn number 4 here, Kenneth. White flag in the air. Do we see a change up here through your top 4? They're in right now.
Not entirely sure. I believe the risk could be taken with a bumper. Here comes Schildhaus now to the inside. They've got some lap traffic, but it won't be a factor out of turn 2. Here comes Schildhaus to the inside for the lead. How about Huffman? Final time through 3 and 4. Cabot will duck back. He'll slide up 3 wide out of turn 4 for the heat win, and it's Cabot that noses ahead. Schildhaus laughing over the radio. Pretty much an exclamation of how fun that was to the end. Huffman and Schildhaus end up 2nd and 3rd. And how about Brandon Brown edging into the transfer?
They're laughing over the radio, so your top 3 enjoying, I guess what is very competitive, but also at the same time not exactly too important here as they're just determining a starting spot. You can see Cabot, Huffman, Schildhaus, your top 3. Gary Sexton in 4th. Justin Malillo and Brandon Brown ended up hanging on. It didn't end up being much of a battle there towards the end of that heat as your top 6 pretty much pulled away. Martin Clay, Kallenbach, Charlie Brown on the outside looking in. And if you didn't hear your name in the top 6 of either of those heats, this is where you currently run, and this is how they'll line up trying to get those last spots. Again, 12 out of 14 Running in this LCQ will transfer in. Matt Stolnick, Preston Pardis will make up road number 1. Ford Martin and George Belfans Jr., they will ride in road number 2. The 07 and the 94 starting in road number 2. Devin Henry will roll off 5th. Mike Clay nosing in the inside wall off turn number 2. He'll look to do better here as he starts in 6th. 7th will go to James Bigford after that penalty in heat number 1. Brett Baldeck will start in the 8th position in this LCQ. Noah Lewis will start in 10th. The Case Collin back in 9th, so rolling along there in heat number 5. Michael Massey and Charlie Brown, the last 2 drivers who are in at the moment. Seth Eggert, DJ Cummings, your 2 on the outside, looking to make up a couple of spots.
For a guy that said he can't wait until we're at a track where we're not full throttle and all over each other in practice, David Schoenhaus sure seems like he's having a lot of fun tonight.
I noticed that comment a little bit in the pre-race too, but he was definitely laughing it off there with Adam Cabot as he threw that slider, and I didn't even realize, but Huffman was able to get second after that contact between your top 2 there in heat number 2. We'll see if more is set here for 25 laps in this LCQ. Again, top 12 transfers. So all you got to do is not be one of those last 2 left on the outside looking in, and you will be competing later on tonight in the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora. Green flag of the air, 25 laps set on the docket. And once again, another pole sitter that may not have that preferred lane on the bottom. Stolnick and Pardis into the wall as they make contact.
One car around, it's the 29. James Bickford got turned into the outside wall. He got turned by the 88 of Mike Clay in front of the field, bounced off of the Dr. Pepper machine of Noah Lewis, and then up and into the outside wall. James Bickford, again, the fastest car here, found himself in trouble, had to start out back in heat number 1 after he jumped the initial start, and now he winds up in a wreck on the opening lap of the LCQ.
Well, and it looked like there, Kenneth, that Mike Clay may have had a little bit of help, was a little bit loose running through that slick, and in that checkup got a little bit of a tap, I believe, from Brett Baldeck there, the 4. We'll look at it one more time. Yeah, you see the initial contact right there off the nose of the 88. Bickford goes spinning around.
Yeah, he went up the cushion, got loose, and then Baldeck had hit him on the rear. Look at Noah Lewis here. This is good look from the 4 machine of Baldeck right there, gives the slight push to the 88. And one thing about these dirt races, guys, is that when you make slight contact, since you're on dirt, things happen very, very quickly, and it's very hard to slow down in an instant. So unfortunately for Baldeck, tags in on Clay, and Bickford, pretty much the worst luck out of that entire incident, just gets hooked in, and around he went.
It's also worth noting that that was put on Mike Clay for causing that incident, so he will use one of his 2 incidents right there. Green flag back out. Caution laps look like they're going to count in this one as we roll along for lap number 4. Pardis and Stolnick, they are tied off at turn 2. Contact, that's Devin Henry who gets into the fence.
Oh man, and Belfans is all over the place. There goes Henry up and into the wall, and around goes Brett Baldeck. They are 5 wide coming off turn 4. No caution for Baldeck going around. We keep on rolling. He gets it fired up, but here comes Henry to the bottom, 3 wide for 3rd.
Oh, 3 wide and nearly inches off of each other as George Belfans Jr. and Noah Lewis. They make contact again entering 3. Belfans able to get the better end of that, and Henry gets him 2 spots right there. Moves up into 3rd and is going to get turned by George Belfans.
Oh, and Colin Bach is around. Mike Clay is stopped, and Seth Eggert is parked on the apron between turns 1 and 2. And Devin Henry, well, his luck ran out right there. Just got a little too sideways, and George Belfans Jr. finished him off.
Well, we really kind of had 2 wrecks going on there at the same time. You had Belfans and Lewis. That was what I had my attention on as they rolled through turns 1 and 2. But a little bit further on back, it was what you were mentioning, Case Kallenbach right there and Seth Eggert getting together. Mike Clay nosing in the wall. So it was really kind of a simultaneous accident between both of those scenarios, Kenneth.
Yeah, it was a chain reaction. You saw that first one happen between the guys up front, Devin Henry, George Balfans Jr. To take a look from James Bickford, who he has a crazy sight, by the way, working his way back up after the initial incident on the opening laps. But it looks like the guys behind were just trying to slow down and unfortunately got contact with each other. There's a look for Bickford as Noah Lewis goes traveling down the banking of the racetrack here at Eldora and is able to avoid it all in the middle of the racetrack. But just a chain reaction. One thing happens in the front, everybody tries to slow down. In reactionary, they get into each other, and then we get a huge pileup.
As far as race control is concerned, that incident will be put on the shoulders of George Balfans Jr., the only one who will be tagged as a cause of incident in that caution flag. So that contact with Devin Henry, the reason for that yellow flag. Again, shout out to Paul Sutton, who usually has some help up in the race control booth in the form of Joshua Mendoza tonight, working by himself. So of course, Paul doing a great job as always, and riding a little bit solo tonight, but doing all he can to try and make sure things are clean out there. He may have a busy night on his hands, a tall task running these street stocks at Eldora. Pardis and Stalnick have swapped spots up here on road number 1, and Pardis going to take full advantage of being able to move up and get that restart going early. And by the way, Balfans, that incident was removed from him. Just getting the word from race control. Green flag in the air. We'll roll lap number 10. 16 laps to go. Side by side for second, and side by side pretty much throughout the entire field.
Devin Henry, of course, remember, he spun to bring out the caution, and he's still in third. You've got James Bickford digging on the bottom. He's cracked the top 5. And remember, he was the cause for the caution 2 cautions ago. He makes some contact there with 16 as we've got contact in a spinner. Balfans is around after he made contact with Charlie Brown. Good grief.
This was further on back as Balfans was given that end of longest line penalty. And yeah, a little bit of contact there with Charlie Brown. As Brown was coming up, Balfans was ripping right on the cushion. And the noses of these street stocks kind of modeled after the old Camaro, so they stick out more in this car than perhaps any other that runs on the iRacing service. And there you have it right there. You can see 94 on the top, 58 on the bottom, and a little bit of disagreement over real estate.
I think I'm going to hold my praise about them modeling it after the Camaro because it's my favorite car. But you see the contact there from the nose, George Balfans Jr. to Charlie Brown. Obviously, that's going to happen a lot, guys. This is dirt, so you are going to have the possibility these slide job moves, and sometimes they don't necessarily work in their favor, well, especially when things get close like that. It was just a bare hit, a very slight hit, but ultimately created a huge incident between the two. Balfans goes around, and that's the reason of our most recent caution.
And the former NASCAR spotter and the current NASCAR tire changer in Balfans Jr. there for Alpha Prime Racing, collecting it off of turn 2. We'll get rolling once again. And it is now 12 laps to go. Pardis once again on the loud pedal pretty early. Gets a good jump as they work through 1 and 2. Nearly 3 wide behind them. More contact as they're 4 wide further on back.
Oh, we got one drive right in the wall. I think that, I can't even tell who that is. I think that's Michael Massey. Said somebody got turned around down the back straightaway. Seth Eggert, he got the short end of the stick. He's lost a ton of time, but Pardis leads. Devin Henry still sits in that 3rd spot, and he is working all over Matt Stalnick for position number 2.
That's the battle for second. Massey and Eggert have both gotten turned, but we're single car separate incidents, so we keep rolling, at least those events taking course over the last lap. Still good battle here for second, though. Henry stuck on the bottom, not able to get up to the wall. Bickford going to look to take advantage of that. And James Bickford, been a long night for him so far, despite all the speed that he's shown. He moves up into the 3rd spot.
And just a large recovery overall for both Henry and Bickford. Remember, both of them getting into incidents to start off this LCQ as Henry dives it in a little bit too deep in turn 1 and 2. Made a bit of contact with Bickford. They're going to stay side by side for 3rd. But they have both made miraculous comebacks, and should they stay where they are right now, this is going to be a free ticket into the feature race. They're going to start pretty far deep in the field, but ultimately a ticket in is a ticket in no matter what. This time Bickford is going to clear officially in turn 1, and now here comes Noah Lewis, maybe to puncture in on the 077.
Lewis making up some ground those last couple of laps as Henry trying to find his bearings about him on the outside. Gets a little bit into the wall, but these street stocks are pretty tough machines. They could take a couple of licks there on the outside wall as you see James Bickford ripping right up to the cushion. Will drop beneath the slick. Look for some type of way to run a separate line from Matt Staldneck to try to get that second spot. Meanwhile, Preston Pardis checking out on the rest of the field as you see the work that's going into Bickford's ride right now.
6 laps to go for these leaders, and Devin Henry got a little too sideways there trying to catch up to that 29 of Bickford, but remember, he's safe where he's at, the top 12 advance. Here comes Bickford for second on Stallneck. Seth Eggert and Michael Massey, the 2 drivers on the outside looking in, and the problem for Eggert, he is 4 seconds back on Case Kallenbach, who's in 12th, and he is losing time. Bickford clear for second, but here comes Stallneck back on the bottom.
Crossover going to come there, but a little bit of a slip up there off the corner. Stallneck not able to get back to him. So in P2, you can see Stallneck, he is fighting that car. I think I saw a little frustration there for a second. He's trying to talk to somebody there. I think that was Devin Henry, who he may have made contact with there on the front straightaway.
They indeed made contact, and now it's inviting the 16 of Noah Lewis to maybe enter into the top 3 for the first time in this LCQ. But while they're doing this, guys, Preston Pardis, P-Money is running away with P1 up to 3 laps to go for the 42, and the Florida native already out of turn 2, just holding on and keeping it clean. The battle still on for third on back. Henry versus Stallneck back to turn 3.
That's the battle as they run up front. However, for that transfer spot, Case Kallenbach has a lot of damage on his car, and he's about 6 or 7 tenths slower than Seth Eggert. So can Kallenbach hang on and get that 12th transfer? Is battling up front for the lead. Here comes James Bickford looking to complete the redemption arc, at least as far as this heat is concerned. He'll go to second. I believe that was a battle for third, behind them. Michael Massey, and no, he's a lap car in front of them. I can't get my bearings about me whatsoever. That's Devin Henry and Matt Stallneck duking it out for third, and contact made between the 2.
Man, here they come. So this is coming to the checkered flag. Pardis wins. Bickford is going to finish third. Devin Henry with the slider. Actually, he'll finish third. It's Bickford that finishes in second. I'm like you. I don't know where anybody's at on the racetrack right now. And Case Kallenbach is in. Seth Eggert is just a couple of car lengths too short.
Eggert was running down Kallenbach there, who had damage at the end, but came up just about half a second too short, needed another lap, and he probably would have been able to get it done. So if you see your name 12th or above, guess what? You'll be racing in the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora tonight. Unfortunately, your 2 drivers who are not going to be turning laps here in the main feature, it is going to be Seth Eggert and Michael Massey, your only 2 who are going to be left on the outside looking in.
Why don't we do picks, guys?
I'm good with picks. Y'all want to do picks? Let's do some picks. All right, Kenneth, I'm throwing you on the spot. Who you got tonight?
All right, well, we're talking Eldora. We're talking about dirt. The first time that we visit dirt since season 4. Last time we were at dirt was at Knoxville. Guess who took the checkered flag in overtime? Ryan Vargas, the La Mirada, California native. Of course, it was with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series machines, so it's not quite like a dirt street stock, but I'm going with the favorite, the one who's defending a dirt win. I got Ryan Vargas at the end of this race, taking P1 and getting his first win of season 5.
All right, so Ryan Vargas out of JD Motorsports, the pick for Kenneth Bueno to take down the victory tonight. Jacob, who we going next?
Just keep in mind, by the way, Vargas has been the cleanest driver by far in the Xfinity Series. TobyChristie.com put that together, and he's only been involved in 3 incidents so far this season. There you see his stats career-wise in MNR. My pick, well, there you see. I'm going with Devin Henry tonight, and you're probably thinking I'm nuts, but hear me out. He has had some pretty solid numbers on dirt, all things considered. The first 2 times we went on dirt, it was this track car combination. Season 1, the first time they came here, he finished 6th. The second time they came here, he finished 7th. He's finished 11th. The last 3 straight times they've gone on dirt, I'm going with Devin Henry. I don't care that he's on vacation. He's getting win number 1 tonight.
So Devin Henry, the pick for Jacob. And by the way, just going to throw it out there that my pick did the best last time we were at Texas. So I'm sure that's going to be a curse tonight. But as far as it is concerned, my pick for tonight at Eldora is going to be Garrett Smithley, who has been consistent. You can look at the skill ratings on the right-hand side of the screen. It doesn't really matter what track we're at. It is consistent as consistent can be. Garrett Smithley, a 3-time winner in the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. I'm going to say he adds one more to that column tonight. Garrett Smithley, my pick. I hope that is not the kiss of death for Garrett tonight.
All right.
So,
our picks haven't been doing too bad, so we'll see.
We haven't been doing all too bad, but of course, before we get rolling here tonight, the reason we're all coming together here is in memory of Joey Mendoza, who passed away last week in a car accident. The brother of race control here in Monday Night Racing, and Josh Mendoza. And before we get going tonight here at Eldora, we would appreciate if you would join us in a moment of silence and reflect on Joey's life here for just a moment with us. Thank you. And we would ask at this time if you would rise, if you're even at your computer screen, I guess we could say, as we honor America and those who protect her with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattle there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, this is what we came here to do, Jacob and Kenneth. We are here to race, and this is how they're going to roll off here for the Joey Mendoza Memorial tonight at Eldora Speedway. First row going to go to Colin Fern and Max Kennan, two very experienced drivers here in the Monday Night Racing Pro Series and on dirt. They'll be making up road number 1. Your Season 4 champion, Adam Cabot, will start alongside Nick Olson, a contender out of the Road to Glory Series last season. My pick, there he is, Garrett Smithley alongside Landon Huffman. He's been awfully strong on these types of racetracks, in the past short tracks in particular, but can get it done on the dirt as well. Mark Rabilis in the number 99 for Crypto Autosport will start in 7th. Stephen Ellis will roll off in 8th. I think before the end of the night, we'll hear from either one of these drivers for Charlotte Phoenix, David Schildhouse and Ryan Fargas. Jacob, round out your top 10.
Looking at the 11th spot, Bailey Turner lines up in 11th. Gary Sexton, a strong pick for dirt. Surprised nobody picked him. I was thinking about it. He starts in 12th. Brian Boris Cook and Will Rogers make up row number 7. The birthday boy, Justin Malillo, looking to pick up his first win on the season. He lines up in row 8 with Presley Sora, the 2-time winner this season, on the outside. Row 9 has Gabe Wood in the 50 and Brandon Brown. And rounding out our top 20, Kenneth, is Preston Pardis, P. Money, and James Bickford.
Well, it's your pick, Jacob Hitz, that starts 21st tonight. That's Devin Henry in the 077 with Matt Stonick to his outside in 22nd. 23rd will feature Noah Lewis in the 16. Ford Martin will be to his outside. League owner, he is 24th to start this race. George Belfast Jr. in the 94 wraps up the top 25. He'll have DJ Cummings to his outside in 26, followed by Mike Clay 27th, Brett Baldick 28th, followed by Charlie Brown and the 84 of Case Colomac. 30 filled here tonight from Eldora, Brown, and Colomac, the final two from the LCQ.
A full 30 cars set to do battle. This track is going to be destroyed by the end of the night. Adapting going to be key, as Max Kennan said. We'll see if he can do it well, along with Colin Fern and the rest of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries, as the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora is underway. Lap number 1 as they come across the stripe. Going to go to Adam Cabot. A little bit of contact there with Colin Fern as Cabot through the slider in 3 and 4. Gets it going straight as, boy, they are 3 wide there off of turn 2. Further on back around that 8th, 9th position.
They found out everywhere. They found already as Shieldhouse looks to the inside for position. That's under Vargas and Garrett Smithley out of turn 4. Not going to make the pass officially complete. Now we'll slide in front of both. We'll try to get Steven Ellis, but it's been a jump of the ages for your Season 4 champion. How about Max Kennan to the inside for the race lead?
Oh, man.
Kennan trying
them. I'm sorry, Blake. I don't know what I'm doing, but Nick Olson, he turned so far to the left to hit the inside wall. I have yet to see that tonight, but sure enough, he went a little too
trouble.
far.
Justin Malillo around on the front straightaway. Single car spin, though. We keep it green.
Not good for the birthday boy, but at least he's able to get it rolling in the right direction. We are 4 wide. Nick Olson gets turned by Steven Ellis, and they are stacking them up. Garrett Smithley piles in. Oh, another one comes flying in. Brandon Brown. DJ Cummings hooks it into the wall so he doesn't pile in. A big crash on the front straightaway, and Nick Olson, well, the bad luck finally comes to that 24. Just 4 wide, not enough room, and Steven Ellis and Garrett Smithley have nowhere to go.
You know, I'll be honest, I was debating between either Garrett Smithley or Nick Olson for my pick tonight, and, well, guess what? They were just both the catalyst for that entire happening off of turn number 4. It was right behind. It was a battle for third. Olson, Fern, Huffman all collected each other, and, boy, just what an unfortunate stack up there. That was a domino effect with a lot of implications there.
Yeah, it was just a tough place, Blake, to make space. Of course, Huffman was in front of this 3-wide fiasco, but they were catching up to him out of turn 4. So by the time Olson had caught up outside 3-wide on top of Fern and Shieldhouse, he had caught up to Landon Huffman, trying to pinch that little space through the middle, just checked up right in front of Steven Ellis, and of course made the contact. Not much that Ellis could do to avoid, and of course he goes traveling towards the inside wall. Smithley involved, Brown, and of course DJ Cummings slowing down for it all the way at the end. Unfortunate there for Olson, who had a really strong start, but I'll tell you, David Shieldhouse with a very strong one, even stronger than him. I think he went +5, 9th to 4th on the opening jump, and luckily missed that incident to bring out our first yellow.
I think it goes to show just how scattered everything gets and how hard and difficult it is to see. And Jacob, for drivers that I would say we are typically accustomed to running on asphalt, it's a little bit trickier once you get on the dirt. When you see those accidents happening in front of you, to get on the binders, to get out of the way, it kind of changes how you have to try and avoid those incidents. You can't just lift at these type of tracks and hope that you're okay. You got to do a little bit more than that if you want to avoid some calamity that's happening in front of you.
The best way to avoid a wreck on dirt is to be ahead of it. That's about the best I got for you.
You're not wrong about that. You always want to be in front of the carnage, and your top 2 definitely in front of it for now. Green flag in the air, 3 wide, looking for the race lead. Kennan and Cabot together. Here comes Landon Huffman, able to take advantage of that contact. He'll try to go up to second, gets right in front of Cabot, places his car perfectly, and no shockers here as Cabot and Shieldhouse. Cabot Cabot saves it. How in the world did he do that?
What a beautiful job of the defending champion to keep that car straight. It almost looked like it was going to face the inside wall, but somehow Adam Cabot holds on to third. Shieldhouse trying to defend against Ellis, Fern, and Vargas all the way on the inside. Matter of fact, here comes Shieldhouse to the inside of Adam Cabot for P3 in turn 1.
David Shieldhouse trying to make that stick there on the bottom. Going to be side by side with Cabot off of the corner, give the advantage to the 17 as Jacob, it looks like most of the drivers trying to funnel there for that high side. 30 cars up there, though. That top side is going to wear quick, but for now, it looks like that's where you want to be.
Yeah, it's going to be gone in 5 laps. But one thing I want to note, we had all 4 Championship 4 drivers from a season ago right together in a pack. Fern, Vargas, Shieldhouse, and Cabot. 4 wide further back, beating and banging. 1 car up against the outside wall. That's Mark Rabillis. Everybody's going to hold on for a moment. He was bouncing off Preston Pardis, Presley Sora amongst them, but they get it sorted out. It's all Max Kennan up at the front.
I tell you what, they are using up that wall as much as anybody. When everybody's getting in line here, one guy hits it. It's almost an accordion effect, Kenneth. You could see one guy makes a mistake, hits the wall, and everybody else, well, they just kind of follow them right into it. But these street stocks again.
Turn 1, Bickford. He gets turned. Pardis is involved. Mark Rabillis piles in. We've got Gabe Wood, DJ Cummings, Justin Malillo piling in at the very end of it. Mike Clay involved in it as well. And it started when James Bickford got turned around off the bumper of Presley Sora. Just not enough room and nowhere for a lot of these guys to go.
We talk about those stack-ups on the outside, Kenneth. This looks like another case of that. Bickford looks like he tried to get back in line, and looks like him and Sora just got hooked together.
Yeah, they got hooked together at the wrong place, wrong time. It appeared as though James Bickford was just trying to clear himself ahead of Sora's nose. Sora had kept his nose in it by the time they got to turn 1. And like you said, Blake, a lot of guys follow when somebody hits the wall, sort of in tandem with each other. It looks like when somebody gets turned near the outside wall, nobody has a choice but to just pile in it and hope for the best as you ride on board. A couple of drivers getting some big hits out of that. I believe it's not faster pair worthy for a majority of the guys involved, but it was a huge one here from Eldora.
Well, that's going to be a little bit different when you talk about fast repairs, Jacob, that typically we go to a lot of these racetracks, they're aero sensitive, so if you get any damage at all, you're kind of questioning whether to use that fast repair at all. We throw all that out the window here at Eldora. You don't want a damaged race car, you'd rather have a clean one, but the street stocks at this track, they can withstand a lot before they're slowed down. So many of your Monday night racing favorites, not going to have to worry about them falling out or perhaps even having to use that fast repair unless a wheel falls off or they blow a motor.
Well, that's exactly it. As long as the suspension's fine and the engine's fine, you can keep going, and they're not going to pit for tires and for fuel, so you're not going to accidentally use your fast repair by going to pit road if you do have a tiny bit of damage and you forgot to uncheck it. So for the most part, I think we're going to have a lot of unused fast repairs by the time we get to the checkered flag.
I think that's going to be the case tonight as well, as you see Millbridge Experience on the inside, and Landon Huffman out of Claremont, North Carolina, ran the Truck Series race at Eldora back in 2019. Has a little bit of experience here at this racetrack. Green flag is out yet again. Kennan up on the top. Here comes Landon Huffman looking for the lead. Not quite able to get clear. Gets caught in the slick. David Shieldhouse and Adam Cabot looking to pounce on that mistake.
And David Shieldhouse here, guys, is one of the only ones that's really pioneering that bottom side, and that's what got Shane Van Gisbergen to the win in Season 3. Last time we brought the dirt street stocks to a dirt track, it was Knoxville, but of course, on the inside lane, SVG was able to manage that and save his tires to the best of his ability. Shieldhouse trying to do that right now and still holding on to 4th as a majority of the field tags the outside wall, and Cabot tries to put more pressure on Landon Huffman for 2nd.
I'll tell you what, Shieldhouse right now being the lone wolf on the bottom. The one benefit of that, Jacob, is that you see everybody else running the high side. We're seeing stack-ups. We're seeing guys get into the wall. Don't have to worry about any of them.
Bailey Turner gets turned around off the bumper of Will Rogers. The 055 turns the 5, and we're under caution yet again. I'm surprised we saw a caution for that because he went down to the inside and he bounced it off the inside wall and kept it rolling. But nonetheless, a slap to the inside wall for Bailey Turner. Just got hooked coming up off the corner, and then not enough time, not enough room to lift and get off the 5, and it turns him around. But as you were talking about, you know, with everybody running the outside, Showhouse is trying to be the guy that's different. The only problem with that is the fact that it seemed like he was losing a little bit of time compared to everybody else.
Losing a little bit of time as you see the caution flag being waved by our friend Barney, the flagman, up at the flag stand here at Eldora, pacing around here for 80 laps. As I believe it's third or fourth caution here at the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora. And a lot of drivers up front here. Kenneth, when you look at the names that we've seen, a lot of Monday Night Racing favorites up here in the top 5. You talked about Adam Cabot, David Schildhouse, Championship 4 contenders from last year. You have Ryan Vargas, obviously a pickup here at the booth. Colin Fern in 6th, but the one thing that sticks out, not a lot of drivers up here that have that win just yet here in Season 5.
And that's exactly what I was about to touch on, Blake. And Jacob mentioned it, kind of tailed me into my point about pretty much the entire Championship 4 being tucked together in one place from last season. Half of that group, Vargas and Cabot, are below the cut line for the playoffs coming into tonight. You think about guys like Steven Ellis, who's just above the cut line, 111 points as of roughly the halfway mark of the season. He's holding on for dear life in 13th. You think about Landon Huffman, who's 17th in the point standings. He needs a very good points day or a win to get him into these playoffs. The only one really secure is the 21 of Max Kennedy and maybe even Colin Fern in the 86. They've been the best in points so far. Everybody else, though, very hungry for a win and to enter the playoffs with certainty.
It's the only way you can get it done, or at least make sure, is to get that victory. We'll see who's able to get it done tonight. Off of turn 2, contact Adam Cabot, Landon Huffman, David Schildhouse into the mix, as well as we're starting to see a lot more drivers venturing down to the bottom of the track. Cabot not able to make it work off of turn number 4. Huffman, though, and Kennan.
Man, I mean, did you see that move Showhouse made? He cut off the front bumper of Vargas, but he made the pass work on Cabot just about. He went all the way to the bottom. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Blake, but I thought for sure Showhouse is going to get turned around, and Presley Soares around, and in the middle of turn 4, and back up across the racetrack, and into Garrett Smithley. A huge accident. Upside down goes the 62. A huge crash. We got 2 upside down. Devin Henry is one of them. I'm not sure who the other is. I mean, it's Brian Boris Cook that's upside down.
Well, you know, I know every single racetrack we go to, we kind of have the idea of what the flip count might be, but I gotta say, I didn't think it'd be this high this quickly tonight at Eldora. As you see, Brian Boris Cook, and that was, I can't even see the number, that was Devin Henry, unfortunately, who was there. Man, what a hard hit for Mike Clay. Got hooked in the right rear, noses it in the outside retaining wall. And you see Henry comes to a rest. He'll have to take a tow. He'll lose a couple of laps because of that. And you see on board from Stallneck here, is he able to get by? There's really nowhere to go. And, well, it could have been worse.
It definitely could have been worse. Kind of stopped the bleeding a little bit there by sliding sideways. But again, that turns back to my point about how rough it is to get around these incidents here at a dirt track, because you stomp on the brakes on an asphalt track and the car's going to slow down. Sure, it's not going to stop on a dime maybe, but it will have a better chance of slowing down and use less feet to end up at the certain speed that you need to maneuver around an incident. But on dirt, as soon as you slam the brakes, the car's going to keep sliding just because the surface doesn't have that much grip on it naturally, because it's obviously dirt. So they're going to be sliding around, and for right there, that many of the incidents there, many of the drivers involved, a lot of them trying to get out of it, trying to hop on the brakes, and they just end up sliding into it. It causes a very big pileup, and I guess if we're going to turn to the flip counter, at least we're on a dirt track, because dirt tracks are where flip counters are from.
We also have a little bit of I wouldn't say a bounty out there, but at least a little incentive. If you started 25th through 30th in the field, our sponsors out there offering up $25 to any driver that can finish on the podium if you started 25th through 30th. Right now, we're not even close to that, but it's always nice to entertain the thought. Is green flag back in the air? Kinnan able to get a great restart, but Huffman really got a great run. 3 wide. Here comes Huffman up the middle. That 75 windshield deep car is charging, and he looks like he might be able to slide up in front of
they're wrecking again. Ellis got turned. I think they sorted it out. Yes, barely. I mean, Bailey Turner piled in. Ryan Vargas has a problem. He's way up against the outside wall, way off the pace. So that's 6 of big problems for Ryan Vargas right now. I think it's the left front wheel, maybe the right front wheel. The suspension broken on that number 6 machine. He's going to have to use his fast repair here, guys.
It's the right front from what I can see. We had a change up front during the midst of that. Landon Huffman went to the lead, and now Maxwell Kinnan going to try to get it back. Cabot working the bottom as he has the last several laps. Contact there for second as Cabot and Kinnan come together. So Huffman holding strong, holding serve for the race lead right now. And man, there's a lot of racing going on back in the pack. 3 wide back here. This is for about 12th. Melillo able to go on by, but man, a lot happening all over this place. We can't keep up with it all.
And I've seen the top 4. They're now putting themselves in their own league. You see Max Kinnan working the inside, Adam Cabot and Colin Fern. They're all working within their group, and then you just look at everybody behind and say, oh my, everyone all going side by side. They finally clear single file for first all the way through 4th. And for the most part, everybody mostly single file around the top 15. Justin Melillo, middle 3 wide. Bailey Turner down low. Ford Martin all the way up top. A great battle turning to turn 3.
And we're already starting to get into the lap traffic here. As you can see, Melillo in the middle, Martin on the outside. It looks like Ellis going to be able to pass as well and complete that move on Justin Melillo. Excuse me, that 50 right there, that is Gabe Wood. Not Ellis right there. So Wood going to hold strong there on the outside and try to get by Justin Melillo. That car in the fence was Ryan Vargas. And we got trouble off of turn 4 as Will Rogers has been spun. And caution flag going to be out yet again for the 6th time this evening. It looked like Rogers, Bell fans, James Bickford, Gary Sexton, similar looking race cars out of them. Unfortunate for Sexton, who we viewed as a favorite coming into tonight, just has not been able to avoid the carnage, and we'll take a look at it.
We got beef. Hold on. I mean, Will Rogers got turned around under caution by Gary Sexton. Gary drove up to the back end and dumped him in the middle of turn number 2. I'm not sure what that was about, but Will Rogers bringing out the caution and then getting turned around. Ah, I see, looking at the replay.
Yeah.
He spun Gary around, so Gary returned the favor.
Great catch there from Jacob Hitz as Gary Sexton hot under the collar here as we approach the halfway point of the Joey Mendoza Memorial. And Sexton, at least at the moment, maintaining his pacing position. But man, a lot happening tonight at Eldora. Don't think we could have predicted that, right?
No, I don't know. I mean, didn't you say before we started that we're going to have a completely clean race? Everything was going to be all clean and dandy. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but nonetheless, a lot of great racing though we've seen despite the beating and banging from Eldora. I don't think we can be disappointed over the first half of the race, no doubt.
I don't think we can either, but of course we appreciate the support of Interstate Batteries, built to top industry standards. Interstate Batteries has been the technician's choice for 9 years and counting, powered by a distributor network of 300 wholesale warehouses and backed up by more than 150,000 dealers around the world, as well as 200 all Battery Center franchise stores. Interstate seeks to deliver the most trustworthy source of power to the world every single day. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable, and we appreciate their support of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. I hope those batteries keep on running tonight with these drivers because they may just tear them up. Huffman, Cabot, your top 2, green flag back in the air, and oh, by the way, don't forget about Colin Fern, who has worked his way to the fold. We'll have to keep an eye on that 86.
Oh man, here comes Cabot right to the back bumper. He's going to go down to the inside for the lead. Max Kennan's going to try and rip that outside and make it 3 wide, but he's too far back. Adam Cabot, the defending champion, clear for the lead, but he chops off the nose of the 75.
We'll see if that 75 remembers that. Is Cabot going to take the point here at Eldora? Kennan not able to get up to the top side before Landon Huffman is able to fill that gap very quickly. Kennan in the middle, Huffman up top. Fern also along with that line up at the top of the racetrack. Kennan unfortunately on the outside, looking in of the outside line, I guess you could say. But Kennan trying to make it work on the bottom as they are just nose to tail for about your first 5 cars there on the outside.
And there's been more of a surge here, Blake, with drivers going down low. Look at your leader, Adam Cabot, trying to play some defense as Colin Fern splits it 3 wide above Landon Huffman. How about a block in front of Max Kennan to turn 1? But more drivers picking up as a caution.
Trouble.
There is a car around near the rear of the field. Mike Clay and Brandon Brown. DJ Cummings, the 12, the 10, and the 88 around it. It looks like it started off of DJ Cummings. He got hit along with Brown, and they both went sideways.
Yeah, that was Gary Sexton just kind of stopped turning at the exit of the corner. Not sure if the car had a problem or what. Bounced up into the 10. That collected Ford Martin. They were able to save it. And then Cummings comes down into the 12, and Mike Clay, with the ARGA Break of the Night award, comes flying into the door of the 10. By the way, we forgot to mention this. Our DoorDash last place winner, Brian Boris Cook for tonight, finishing in the 30th spot. He's out of the race. Garrett Smithley out of the race.
As we continue to roll along here under caution flag number 7 at Eldora tonight, we continue to roll along for the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries.
This is an Interstate battery. More pros trust this than any other out there. Yeah, more pros. More. Even more pros. Keep going. Moss. Look, we're going to run out of time before we run out of pros who like Interstate. I mean, we'll run out of time before we even run out of left-handed pros who knit. These pros are everywhere, which means so is this battery. Right around the corner, up the street. Everywhere. Interstate batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Back with you here for coverage of the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. Blake McCandless, Kenneth Bueno, and Jacob Hitz on the call with you tonight from the Eldora Speedway. It has been a wild one so far tonight, and we still have over 30 laps with 30 drivers that took the green flag to start. It looks like, I believe, according to timing and scoring, 27 still remain on the racetrack and in contention on the lead lap. Actually, Devin Henry will be the 28th car, but currently scored 2 laps down. Adam Cabot, Landon Huffman, your top 2, but my goodness, did Colin Fern have something to say about that? I think he will be one we have to watch as Huffman off the corner going to try to shoot the middle and go for the race lead in 3.
He's going to try to duck it down low all the way to the inside. Will the slide job be worth it? Answer for the moment is slightly yes. Oh! Contact with Cabot as Cabot hits the outside wall. We will stay green. They're 3, 4 wide. Now for the lead. Here comes Schildhouse down low.
Oh, they're wrecking.
Around.
There goes Cabot.
Cabot in the middle of the field. That is Heartbreak City for the 17. Adam Cabot gets put into the outside wall, and around he goes to bring out another caution from Eldora.
And he says over the radio, you weren't clear. Talking with Landon Huffman, put him in the wall, and then George Balfans Jr. pushed him into the wall. I think the suspension was already broke on that 17, and then the 94 just pushed him around, came down, bounced off a couple of cars. Matt Stallnick nowhere to go. Brandon Brown, an innocent bystander. Charlie Brown involved in this one. Presley Sora, Gabe Wood getting bodied. And tough break for the series champion a season ago, Adam Cabot. We thought maybe the luck was starting to turn around tonight, and here he is involved in an accident.
Yeah, you can see it off of turn 4. Cabot did not have the right front tire attached right there, so when he went into turn 1, could not turn at all. Bell fans, unfortunately, had no way of knowing that, exactly what was going on with the 17. He looked like he was up to full song there, despite the contact. So Cabot into the wall without a right front tire, and that will be the cause of caution right there. We'll await word from race control as to if anybody is responsible or if nobody will have that incident put against them. Obviously, contact off of turn number 4 between Huffman and Cabot was kind of the catalyst of all that. Huffman not quite clear up to the top, and Cabot loses the right front out of it.
And it just happens here at these dirt tracks. Again, the slide jobs, when you try to pull them off, sometimes they don't necessarily work as close as you think you are to clearing them. Sometimes they're just right there on your outside at the last waning second, and then you're pretty much forced to commit because you can't get out of it in enough time. So tough there for the likes of Adam Cabot. That's going to require most likely a faster pair, may be out of it for the end. But Max Kennan, Landon Huffman strong up at the front. Huffman able to get a big jump out of turn 4. We're back under green with 27 laps to go.
Laps are starting to tick down here in the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora. Landon Huffman, Max Kennan. Contact there as Huffman somewhat turned into the corner. Kennan apologizes over the radio, but he may not have too much to say right here. He gets a huge run, but Fern now into the back, and Kennan gets separated.
Got a lift. Just gonna run the guy over. I cannot believe that they, oh man, and Shieldhouse gets hit from behind by Kennan. Here comes Fern peeking to the outside. He can't get by that 21 either. And Landon's got to be enjoying this in his mirror because he's just able to drive away from all of it.
Now, I was about to say he sees 3, he sees 4, sometimes he sees 5 wide back there, but he doesn't mind it. He'll pull away. Shieldhouse gets the better end of that battle for second. Is that 20 TobyChristie.com Chevrolet.
Trouble! Upside down! Pardis. Bailey Turner got turned. Belfonz is in it, and P-Money's on his roof. Oh, they're still wrecking down here. Rebellis around. Man.
I think that was, that started around Bailey Turner, I think.
Yeah, Bailey got loose and then got turned by Pardis. One of the drivers just said, somebody's got to get black flagged by now, right? With the amount of wrecks that we've had, it's just been different guys involved in every single incident. And Pardis, yeah, the 5 tried to pull a slider, wasn't clear of the 42. 42 got into the back of him, turned him around, and then the 42 goes up and over off the bumper of the 94. Our picks aren't looking too good here, guys.
No, they're not. I mean, Garrett Smithley has already called it a night. He's 19 laps down. I promised that I wasn't trying to pick him to win the DoorDash award, but even if I was doing that, I was still 1 spot off.
And let's see. Devin Henry's 1 lap down. I think he's going to get back on the lead lap here. Now, of course, Kenneth, you picked Vargas.
He's 11th.
Oh. And remember, he had that suspension damage and had to pit under green. And he's somehow back into the 11th position.
Oh, man. What a wild one it has been. And, of course, we would like to remind you that BOOSTED.BIZ builds a custom platform for your brand to sell your products. They take care of everything, pay nothing, and let them handle the rest. To get started with your online store today, visit Boosted.biz today. My goodness, that was a little bit of a tongue twister. Boosted.biz today. My goodness.
There you go. You got
it's been
there.
A rough
green
run
flag.
Up in the booth.
Oh my. Oh man, Justin Malotto getting bodied, and there goes Will Rogers. Mike Clay is around. That's going to bring out another caution. Cummings piles in. Balfans, Kallenbach. Blake Baldick, not break. He is braking because he keeps running into stuff, not on his own fault though. They just keep wrecking in front of him. Devin Henry's back on the lead lap, and I think for the 8th time we're under caution, 9th, 20th, something like that.
You gave us a wide range. I think we're whatever range you gave us, at least it's somewhere in there. So we'll see once again. See TJ Cummings piling in there. It's been a really rough night for Mike Clay. I tell you what, it has not been one to write home about for the 88.
Yeah, definitely not. And again, just the chain reaction here with Rogers getting turned. He got saved by the fact that Vargas was down there. They both made contact, and Rogers was able to save it, kept it straight. But Clay, in anticipation that something bad was going to happen, that a crash was going to arise in front of him, slowed down, got sideways, and then it was Mark Rebellis that tagged him from the rear end of the race car. And that's what basically she wrote there. DJ Cummings getting hip checked sideways. He went sliding into the turn 1 and 2 area. And unfortunately, more drivers who have already been involved in incidents just continue to get crash after crash tallied on them. It's been a rough night for many, and I think we've just seen a big split, guys, between guys who have just kept it clean up front, have been rather sufficed being up at the front of the field, and the guys in the rear who continue to get hit after hit.
That's definitely been the contrast, and I think everybody that's kind of up there towards the front, they're kind of looking back over their shoulder. They're coming over the radio and saying, hey, if you guys mind figuring it out back there, we'd like to race up here, because we have seen some fantastic racing up here in the top 5. Huffman, Schildhaus, Kinnan, Fern, Olsen. We've seen a lot of guys who are really able to mix it up. Heck, how about Ford Martin? Where did he come from? He's in 6th right now.
Unbelievable. I mean, the last time we came to a dirt track, Ford did pretty well. And, you know, we know Ford has struggled a lot over these last couple of weeks. He's showing his strength right now. Let's see if he can finish the deal here.
Well, it looks like he rubbed a little bit there in the middle of the corner, a little bit of contact with Colin Fern through 1 and 2. How about Justin Melillo? Nice effort to get up here. He's in 7th. He's side by side with Ford Martin off the corner. Your top 5 have now worked out single file. Here comes Nick Olsen, though, down to the bottom side of the racetrack.
I remember we saw Nick Olsen in an incident earlier tonight here from Eldora, and how about a huge block in front of Max Kennan to hold on to 3rd. I'm surprised, though, that Schildhaus and company aren't looking to the inside, and they are not catching up to your race leader, Landon Huffman. This time, 15 laps to go. It's Huffman, Schildhaus, Olsen, your top 3. Top 4 have broken away. Ford Martin trying to play defense on Rogers and Melillo.
Trying to hold them off as Melillo will actually venture down to the bottom of the racetrack right now, but so far so clean up front. You see Schildhaus has kind of made up a couple of car links on that battle for 3rd as Olsen gets into the wall in 1 and 2. That brings Maxwell Kinnan and Colin Fern right to the back of him. So this battle for 3rd getting pretty hairy right now, 3 wide.
Colin Fern goes all the way down to that inside wall. Hasn't seen much rubber so far today, but he's going to try his best. Can't quite make it work, and I think for Schildhaus and for Huffman, they're staying up on the outside because it's still the fastest way around, and they want to try and get to the end of this deal. They're tired of pacing. They want to be racing right now. They're sure racing for that 3rd spot. Max Kennan all over the back door, Nick Olsen.
Kinnan, and Olsen, perhaps just a little bit of contact there. Battling for 3rd. Fern's going to be sick and tired of riding in line. He'll try to make the middle work. Just
trouble, Ford Martin. Oh, look out. Oh, man. Oh, Mike Clay again. Charlie Brown, Brett Baldeck, and Ford Martin. His luck runs out. He gets turned off the front bumper of Gary Sexton after he got bodied a little bit by Will Rogers. It was those two that made contact that got Ford a little further back in traffic, and that's what got Ford turned around, and there's nowhere to go right in the middle of the racetrack. And Blake, we already talked about how tough it is to avoid accidents at speed. Well, there's another perfect example. Just so tough to avoid, especially on the dirt.
I was about to say Martin was committed to the middle. He saw Will Rogers make that contact, force him up to the outside, and Sexton is rolling on the top. There's no way that even if he backs out, I doubt that he can avoid that. And man, Mike Clay, we talked about it time and time again. What a tough afternoon it has been for Mike Clay. He is gets right up involved in that one, plows into Ford Martin. It has been a rough one for Mike Clay.
Very rough for Mike Clay. It's a huge hit, and then you bring in Brett Baldeck, who was slightly on the edge of it, almost avoided it completely, but then just got a piece of it. And like you said, guys, I mean, nowhere for the one machine of Gary Sexton to go. Just couldn't do anything. I mean, you're going so fast, you're already built up your rhythm, and by the time something happens in front of you, it's so hard to slide out of it. And Gary Sexton makes the contact, and the caution waves again.
It waves again, and they're actually going to put the cause for that caution on Will Rogers. So Will Rogers will be sent to the end of the longest line after causing that incident. That is just one of 2. We haven't had a single driver be parked for 2 incidents yet. Battle Beaver has everything you need for your next professionally modded custom controller. With options for PlayStation, Xbox, GameCube, and much more, Battle Beaver has everything you need to elevate your gaming potential. Head to BattleBeaverCustoms.com to customize your controller. Use the code PODIUM for 10% off. Green flag back in the air. Landon Huffman still holding strong up front. About a car length or 2 ahead of David Schildhaus. And geez, guys, it seems like every single time we get to the end, James Bigford in the heats started to become a factor. He's going to make the move and slide job for 2nd on Schildhaus.
Nick Olsen botched the restart as Melillo's in the wall and gets turned. He collects Olsen. Big crash off turn number 2, and there are 2 different wrecks. and a good 6, 7, 8 cars are wrecked on the back straightaway. Nick Olsen botched the restart, had Kennan all over the back of him, and then right there, Justin Malillo got turned around off turn 2, came down, got into Olsen. I believe it was Ryan Vargas in the 6th that turned the birthday boy around to bring out another caution here from Eldora. There you see it. Well, turns him into the outside wall first, and then turns him into the inside wall. Meanwhile, Matt Stolnick, he's already crashing behind these guys. We got a 2-for-1 here.
I was about to say 2 different incidents, and the one that was up front virtually blocked the entire back straightaway as cars were just scattered everywhere. You see the second wreck going on behind Matt Stolnick, another spin down there. Who's that? Charlie Brown that goes for a spill. He's been involved in a couple of incidents as well. We'll see right on board one more time for Gary Sexton, who's had a really long night here in the Joey Mendoza Memorial. Looking so clear, and well,
man,
it's able to get through.
It doesn't get closer than that. It gets really close, especially on dirt when everybody's sliding all over the place. Sexton in the middle just held it through, and the credit for the spotter as Ellis gets turned in front of him. Gets a shot from the rear by George Balfans Jr., and maybe that could have helped his case to get through that incident, but Sexton manages to slide through it all, and he's back to 7th.
Well, that was Michael Hall that spotted Gary Sexton through that, so I guess you get the credit to the spotter on that one, even if they really had nothing to do with it. Sometimes it can just be blind luck, or perhaps he gave the right call, but nevertheless, we give credit where credit is perhaps due there with Gary Sexton and Michael Hall. Up front, though, we're getting to the end of this thing. 5 laps to go. We'll turn to 4 when we take the green flag. Huffman, Schildhaus, Bickford now up in your top 3. Green flag is out. It'll be 4 to go when they cross the stripe. We'll see what happens. Huffman out to the lead. Bickford trying to make the move for 2nd, not able to get clear.
Nah, Bickford can't quite get the grip on the bottom. Schildhaus smacks the wall, so does Colin Fern. He's going to lose a ton of time. But here comes Schildhaus, looking for win number 1 of the season. He knows he wants to get back to the championship fight. He can't do it. He's going to lose 1 to Kennan. And here comes that 29 of Bickford as we've got somebody. Gabe Wood is trying to give Gary Sexton a piggyback down the front straightaway. Now they're crashing for 2nd. Oh my goodness, there goes Schildhaus into Fern. They are crashing to the inside wall. A big wreck behind him. Gabe Wood's upside down.
Boy, they were trying to wreck for about 10 seconds there, and unfortunately, too many cars hit one another that they just couldn't get it collected any longer. Schildhaus and, honestly, Colin Fern, innocent bystanders in that. The rest of the field comes piling in, and a great finish for Schildhaus, which hasn't necessarily been hard to come by. Good runs, but a lot of bad luck. Unfortunately, Schildhaus gets turned. He brings Colin Fern with him. So strong for Colin Fern, who sat on pole tonight. A lot of rough evenings going on here at Eldora.
And that is not going to be any good news if you're David Schildhaus, because coming into this race had 116 points, 11th on the playoff standings, just 2 spots shy of falling out of the top 13. And that hit, sending him back to 28th, ultimately is going to maybe kill his chances of even being in the top 13 by the time we get to Talladega with the next-gen cars just 1 week from tonight. Schildhaus having a severely ailed number 20, tried to get into pit road and couldn't turn left hard enough to get in there. Car just would not respond, so he's going to try again. But Schildhaus, ultimately, with the toughest ending imaginable here from Eldora.
Tough ending, and to make matters worse, he is going to be charged with the cause of that incident. So regardless if he's able to salvage something out of this, which when we go to Monday Night Racing overtime may be pretty impossible to do, but he's also going to get tagged with one of those season-long incidents, which Schildhaus is mostly a clean driver, so hasn't necessarily been wrapped up in a lot this year compared to some of these competitors, but you never want to strike against the old incident count when we do this. So lights are off on the pace truck. We do have Monday Night Racing overtime. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered as Huffman trying to lead him down. Bickford got a jump right there and beats Huffman to the line. Contact. Here comes Maxwell Kennan. An awkward restart at that, but Huffman trying to hold on up top.
We'll see if they make it. Kennan into second. He's got Bickford on the outside. They're 4 wide further back. They've got to make it to the white flag or this race is not official. It looks like they're going to make it. No, just before they get to the start-finish line, a parking lot in turn 4. Nick Olson, DJ Cummings, Charlie Brown, Stephen Ellis, Will Rogers. There's another one involved, Devin Henry, and I mean just feet before Landon Huffman crossed the start-finish line to take the white flag. Paul Sutton hit the button to throw the caution flag for another parking lot in the back of the field.
And I think we've said this a number of times tonight, Kenneth. Multiple wrecks going on at the same time. I saw Will Rogers in the 46 of Stephen Ellis. That kind of caught my eye as we work into the corner. Yep, you see the contact right there. And whether it's a reaction to that or something entirely different going on, golly, Mike Clay, Charlie Brown, DJ Cummings, again, just the same names over and over again. I'm sure some of these guys just wish tonight would end.
Yeah, they definitely want to go packing up for Talladega in 1 week time. But again, Blake, it's just the thing that we were talking about for multiple times on through. But I also think it's just the antsiness. Again, you're on a green-white checkered, 2 laps to go. You're in overtime. You're trying to get as many positions as possible. A lot of these guys just at least trying to salvage a good point stay by sending it as far as they can. And unfortunately, a lot of guys miscommunicate. They make the slight contact. And like we harped on multiple times throughout tonight's event, when you make slight contact here on dirt, chances are somebody's sliding around, and it's going to be hard for everybody behind to avoid.
We've seen that time and time again, and who knows, we do have 2 more potential attempts at overtime. I want to watch this restart between Huffman and Bickford because I don't know what happened. I think Bickford is trying to roll and get a little bit of a lead on Huffman right now. You can see he leads by about a car length, and Huffman's...
Look how far they are behind the pace truck. Yeah, the pace truck was on miles before.
And it looked like Bickford was ahead by about a car length there. Huffman was basically trying to let him jump the start. So a little bit of mind games being played between your top 2. Huffman gets the better end of it for now.
They're wrecking.
They're wrecking in turn 2.
Ford Martin involved. Devin Henry's in his 18th different wreck tonight. And I mean, once again, pile up for 25th. It was Presley Sora, the first car sideways, and it stacked everybody up. He was able to keep it on going. Brandon Brown got into him, and then Devin Henry got into the 86, him around, then Ford Martin got turned, and we're going to our last overtime. And this race very well may wind up under caution here. This might be the easiest win that Landon Huffman's had in a while.
Again, we'll have to watch this last restart because so much is happening between your top 2 on where they're lining up, who's trying to jump, when they're going to get the jump. As far as updates on cause of yellows, that last one at lap 82, we had 2 drivers tagged with the incident. It was Charlie Brown and Will Rogers. Now, Will Rogers became the first driver to have 2 incidents put on him in this race. So Rogers disqualified, will not see the end of it, and he gets 2 incident points in this one. As far as the lap 86 caution that we just had, Noah Lewis given the cause for that. So he will go to the tail end of the field for this one. And I will say that Josh Mendoza, a little bit of humor up here in the chat, a little bit of good spirits right here, says, Joey wants this race to last as long as possible.
Oh, my. All right, well, this is it. Last restart right here, guys. I don't know if they're going to make it back, but I like Landon Huffman's chances right about now.
I like his chances. Again, we'll see what happens, what games are being played on this restart, creeping at just 37 miles an hour. Bickford ahead by about a car length. Does Huffman wait, or does he go early? And, well, there you have it. He goes a little bit early. Green flag in the air. Can he get clear to turn 1? The answer, yes, by a couple of inches. Through 1 and 2 they work. Huffman, Bickford, Kennan, your top 3.
And there's contact between Kennan and Vargas. How about more contact between Bailey Turner and Adam Cabot? Final time through 3 and 4 before they see the white flag. Will the caution come out? Answer is no. White flag in the air for Landon Huffman to turn 1.
Huffman scrapes the outside wall. Here comes Bickford with a run because of it. Huffman will go down low, try to block the slide job. Here comes James Bickford through 3 and 4. He doesn't clear him. He hits Huffman into the wall. Contact made. Huffman into the fence and across the line. Give it to James Bickford. Bickford by 42 one-thousandths of a second moves Huffman right out of the way, and Kennan just didn't have enough. And James Bickford, 2 times a winner here in Season 5.
Back to back. How about it? And Max Kennan, again, almost wins. Well, not back-to-back for Bickford, I guess, because of Texas, but Max Kennan has lost by, I think, a combined 5 feet over these last 2 races. He almost won at Texas 2 weeks ago. He almost won tonight. I think 5 feet is generous. It's more like 3 feet. But, I mean, look at this replay. Bickford sets it up perfectly. Last lap, he's close enough. Huffman tries the defensive line, and Bickford just sends it in on the bottom. Hip checks the 75 up into the wall. I thought they were both going to wreck. Here comes the 21, but that 29 got back on the gas. I don't think he ever lifted going into 3. Really got to the start-finish line, and it paid off.
Well, the other thing that I guess Landon Huffman is trying to bring to attention is all those games that were going on those restarts. He's saying that Bickford was jumping the starts, and you know, the couple of restarts before, there's a little bit of I don't know, there might be something there where maybe we get a decision from race control later on about what was going on those restarts. We saw a lot happening there at the end, but we'll await word if anything is going to change. But for now, unofficially, Bickford, Kennan, who came up so close, bridesmaid once again, and Landon Huffman, your top 3. A little bit left to sort out here. I got to say, no lack of excitement here at Eldora. That's exactly how Joey would have wanted it.
Definitely not a lack of excitement. And think about James Bickford. Started 20th. Remember his path through the LCQ, having the problems in Heat 1, having the problems in the entire journey to get into this feature, and he comes away with the win. By the way, last 4 races, look at the win column. Presley Sora, Martinsville, James Bickford, Watkins Glen, Presley Sora again at Texas, and now James Bickford for the 2nd time here at Eldora. 4 races, 2 different winners, 2 different names occupying that column. Bickford getting his 2nd win and tying Presley Sora for the most all-time in Season 5.
By the way, just hearing word. Yeah, Jacob, go ahead.
Ford Martin just said ending is under review, so they are going to look at this. So we're not official yet. Results are unofficial at this point. That Bickford, Kennan, and Huffman are your top 3. That could get shuffled around, but looking down through, how about the top 5s for Cabot and Vargas? They have struggled so far this year. They get themselves into the top 5, and Gary Sexton, we talked about how good he is on dirt. He comes home with a what looks like P6 finish. Not too bad. He got roughed up tonight, and he's still able to get a good finishing position.
How in the world did Gary Sexton get 6th? I mean,
I know.
How did that happen?
Lillo, birthday boy, 8th. He wrecked like 4 times tonight. Not of his own doing, but...
By the way, Martis was upside down and he finishes 9th. So how about that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of... It's kind of crazy to look at this result sheet and look at everybody. I mean, Mike Clay, I would say a top 15 for the night he had. I would take that, considering all that happened to him. But again, we will. These results are unofficial. This could change, and we will have to await a discussion that could be brief, could be lengthy. I imagine. With the minute details that kind of make this up, that this could take a little bit of time to decipher, because this is going back not only to the last restart, but the couple of ones over the course of those overtime restarts. There's green-white checkers, some of the stuff that was going on between Bickford, between Huffman, the ending as well that can obviously be under review. So there's a lot left to determine here, guys. And when Josh was saying earlier that Joey wanted this race to last as long as possible, he's getting his money's worth, because I'm sure he's sitting up there laughing his tail off at some of what's taking place here. I'm sure he's enjoying the show.
Well, ultimately, this is, of course, if they change position here on this review, this is going to matter big time in the point standings. Of course, Max Kennan, let's say if he ends up in the win, him or Huffman, let's say if either of them get the decision, they will be first-time winners this season, and they will lock themselves in the playoffs. As you look at the rest of the field, the final ones in this grid, of course, Brian Boris Cook will be getting the DoorDash award, so he finishes dead last in P. Actually, no, Will Rogers will get it, so Cook beats him by just a little bit. 91 laps down for Will Rogers, who ends up in P30. He was disqualified at the end of the race, so we'll see, but there's a lot of points on the line. And again, the ticket to the playoffs on the line as well, because Bickford getting his second win doesn't matter for the playoffs because he's already in via Watkins Glen. It's just everyone else behind that needs that win to get in, and that's going to mean a lot if things change.
Ah, man. That's a great point, Kenneth, about the playoffs and how any decision makes a big difference. Bickford gets his second win. He gets playoff points, sure, but he gets a little extra security, but how much the picture changes if someone like Maxwell Kennan gets into victory lane, has a lot of points built up. Obviously, he came home second at Texas last week. He potentially has a second tonight, and I think if Bickford or anybody were to be penalized, it would be Max Kennan who wins this race. Huffman, as much as he may not like the contact or the restarts or whatever may happen, Max Kennan is not a part of that conversation. So if something were to happen to Bickford, Kennan would be your winner tonight. We're getting a decision here within 3 minutes. That was posted about 2 minutes ago. So we're hoping within the next couple of moments that we might get an official word from Race Control as to exactly who won, who's being put where. All of that going on. We'll get some word here in just a moment. I know I almost want to go ahead and talk to Max Kennan and perhaps just get some of his thoughts on this. I know we talked to him a little bit earlier on tonight. He was up front all night long and ran a competitive race. But Max, I know there's a lot left to be determined right now. We still don't have an official word, but at least at the moment, you got second. That can't be bad, and perhaps you get one spot better depending on the outcome of this decision.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting race. I tried to keep the car as clean as possible and off the wall. Those restarts were definitely, you want to be on the outside. You could hold for like a lap or two on that bottom or the middle bottom right at the edge of that middle groove. So, but you'd end up getting past. But I got lucky on that last restart. I slotted in fourth, and I knew Bickford was going to make a move, so I went to the bottom in 3, and I heard just a bunch of crunching, and my spotter, Tom, he was just saying, dig, 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 and then I door slammed, and I got second, and then I went back and watched. I was like, ugh. I said, I don't know what they're going to do about that one, but we'll see here. Maybe I'll get my first win of Season 5.
Well, we'll see if you're able to do it, but I guess the other thing I'll ask you about that real dirt racing experience, I mean, it seemed like it paid off for you a little bit tonight.
Yeah, definitely knowing throttle control. It seemed like being behind a lot of guys, once I got slotted like in fourth under green flag conditions, guys just seemed to want to hold it wide open, and that would cause their tails to hit the outside wall on corner exit. And they'd just slam the tail whip it and lose momentum down the straightaway. You just got to pedal it off and let off on the corner exit. So that seemed to be where I gained most of my advantage. But we'll see here on this whole deal. I'm excited.
Oh, man. Well, Max, I know we might have to pull you in here in a minute depending on the outcome of this, so we'll let you go back down and breathe a little bit, and who knows, maybe we'll talk to you a little bit as a winner. I'm sure that'll feel good, but we'll let you kind of sit here and I guess stew in the meantime, see what's going to happen.
I know, it feels like I'm in a car under rain delay with the umbrella waiting for them to come over and say I won the race.
Well, we'll see if you do it. Max Kennan unofficially at the moment is in second position. And, oh, man, this chat is pretty good right now.
Josh Mendoza writes in, he's just been in the server tonight. He says, glad I have the week off. Oh, my. Oh,
My goodness. Well, all right. So we're gonna move on from Max. We're gonna bring up somebody who I'm sure is willing to talk to us. Jacob Hitz. We're gonna get you caught up here with driver of the 75 who led a good portion of tonight. That is Landon Huffman.
Landon, good car tonight. Take us through that last green white checker.
I don't know, man. What'd y'all see? I mean, it was actually a lot of fun to drive. I hate we had a bunch of cautions, but it was hard to rip the lip, and when you could hit it right, you could go really fast. But if you missed it, you were in the fence, and contrary to popular belief, the wall did not help you. It actually hurt you. I mean, I hit the wall coming to I guess in 1 and 2 on the last lap, I hit the wall, and that let James get back to me down the backstretch. But I don't know. I mean, he was jumping.
Hold on, Landon. Landon, I'm going to have to cut you off here. Taking the win away from James Bickford. Max Kennan is your race winner. Landon, you finished second. Adam Cabot is going to finish third, I believe. So James Bickford has been taken, his win has been taken away. They think his move going into turn number 3 was not just to win the race. It was basically to take you out. Max Kennan's your winner. Landon, you're now P2 tonight.
That's all right. I like Max. He's my buddy. I don't know why James felt the need to do that, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a video game. He doesn't get a whole lot of opportunities, if any, to race anymore. So I understand the BMW testing that he does right now at the training facility or whatever must be kind of frustrating not being able to actually race. So when he gets to do this, I guess he's got to do dumb shit like that. But I'm glad Max won. That was a frustrating race. It was fun to drive, not really fun to race. So hopefully the league gets a little more cleaned up and we get to actually race like we're supposed to, because there is a lot of good guys in here.
Talladega next week in the next gens. Any better shot next week?
I doubt it. I mean, it's Talladega, and the draft package is kind of hard, but it might be fun. We'll see. Actually, I like the short track combos. It just sucks we can't actually race at them, but we'll see how the following week goes. It would have been nice to get into the playoffs, but I do this for fun, and it's a good time, and I get to race with people that I enjoy racing with when we do get to race, so hopefully the next one's better.
Well, Landon, congratulations on P2, and we'll see you next week from Talladega.
Thanks, man.
Landon Huffman comes home in position number 2 after further review. So I guess this means Max Kennan, well, he gets his win. He's locked in. Blake?
Yeah, I guess we'll pull him up one more time just before we catch up with Adam Cabot, who would, technically now, he would be your third place finisher. So, Max, it's official. You're a winner tonight. All right. How does it feel to have the umbrella down now?
Well, they came to my car and told me I won the race, so I can go ahead and hop out, meet my crew in victory lane, First of all, I just want to say thoughts and prayers to the Mendoza family. I never got the opportunity to meet Joey, but he sounded like a heck of a dude. My thoughts and prayers go out to them. I want to dedicate this win to them. First win of season 5. Thoughts and prayers with them. Just an awesome race at the end there, and I know everybody's thinking about him.
Ah, man. I'm kind of out of words at everything we've witnessed tonight. It has been crazy, but you're at the end of the day, Max, it doesn't matter. You're locked into the playoffs now. We were talking about how much it would mean early on in the night, but now that's a reality. How does that change your approach moving forward?
Well, like I said in pre-race when you guys were talking to me, it creates a different mindset for me. Now I'm focused on those races in the playoffs. I've got the schedule up on my screen right here as we speak. I don't have to worry about I could take more chances, more risk. I'm going to try to be consistent and not change too much, but the mindset of just racking up more points and more bonus points, all that for the playoffs, that's going to be easier to do on a mindset level. So it'll be pretty fun.
All right, Maxwell, I know we talked to you once. I know we got to get everybody in here and roll through. We'll let you go, but any last words before we let you slip on out of here for the last time?
Thanks to everybody. Thanks to my spotter, Tom. I can hear my family down there cheering and all that. So that'll be cool to go down there and talk to them. And I'm sure my phone's blowing up right now also. So you guys have a good rest of the broadcast. We'll see you next week.
All right, Maxwell Kennan now your winner tonight in the Joey Mendoza Memorial at Eldora. We got one more to talk to here as far as our podium finishers, or at least, Adam Cabot caught up with Kenneth Bueno.
Here indeed with the driver of the 17, Adam Cabot, who comes home officially now as a word from race control, P3 from the Eldora Speedway. Adam, it was a very physical race, but I can imagine after the end, even with this long wait for official decision, it was a good ending to the race, especially with how last week went with the Radicals of Texas.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I'm not even sure how I'm sitting here P3 at the end of this thing. That's just insanity. I mean, I was 2 laps down in like 28th or something like that with, I think, less than 20 to go. So if you told me I'd be, finishing podium at the end of this thing, I wouldn't have believed you. But yeah, it was just a lot of chaos at the end there. Just, barely squeezing through wrecks and just kind of made it through. And then, just kept diving to the bottom. I mean, with these dirt races, everyone always wrecks to the top because it's the preferred groove. So I just stayed committed to the bottom and passed a bunch of cars that way and somehow ended up third. But yeah, I mean, part of me is really happy just to end up getting the finish since this was just such a chaotic race. But at the same time, it just kind of sucks because I was up there battling for the win with Landon and Max and Schildhaus and Fern and all those guys. And I mean, Huffman pulled a slider and kind of came up on me there. But, I sort of did the same thing to him earlier. And I could have lifted and tried to cross him. And obviously, in hindsight, that's what I wish I would have done. So, just kind of sucks, but at the same time, like I said, thrilled with P3 after the way this race went.
And of course, you saw both sides of the card, being in the mid-pack where everything was going haywire, and then of course at the front where things were still very, very insane when it came to running for the race win. Walk us through how that's like behind the wheel. Of course, the track was slickening off, and this race being ultimately more physical as opposed to the Radicals of Texas last week, where the tension was built on not making contact as much as possible. How was it like to be in a more aggression-filled scenario with these hefty dirt street stocks at a dirt track?
Yeah, I mean, you could not have 2 more polar opposite oval-style races than last week with the Radicals and then this week with the street stocks on dirt. But I thought the track was really racy the way that it kind of ended up working in. I was surprised. I thought the top would be completely dominant, and obviously it was for the most part. But I felt like up until about my wreck there when I was battling for the lead, we were able to. I was trying the bottom and making it work. We were able to kind of move along, and it wasn't just one guy up there dominating the whole race. Like there was a lot of passing up front. So from that perspective, when I was up front, I was like, man, this racing's great. I'm like, this sucks. We have so many cautions. I'm like, I don't know what's going on back there. And then I ended up back there, and I was just like, okay, this is just pure chaos. It's just cars everywhere. I mean, part of it's just people being over aggressive, but part of it too is just iRacing's default spotter is not good on dirt, and you kind of end up 4 or 5 wide because the track is so racy, and you don't really know how many cars are above or below you. And you have 30 cars in the track, someone's just going to guess wrong on how many cars are around them. So, part of it's on the drivers, and part of it's just tough to be aware of your surroundings. Especially, I mean, at least I have triple monitors, but I know a lot of these guys don't, so that makes it even tougher. But yeah, just a very competitive race up front, which is nice to see. But we got to figure out a way to get these things to go green.
So P3 tonight at Eldora, and you get to hop from a dirt street stock Camaro to a next-gen Cup car Camaro. What's the plan for Talladega 1 week from tonight to keep the momentum riding high on your side?
Honestly, I have no idea. Daytona, I tried just staying at the front and got wrecked while I was leading. So in the Radicals, I was like, I'm just going to stay at the back and save all my fast repairs, all that. And somehow I got wrecked when I was in last. So I don't know what to do. I've tried both strategies. Neither of them worked so far today. So far this year. So I'm not really sure. But I'll probably just go and try to race it out because riding in the back's pretty boring.
Well, certainly a hard-fought P3 effort here tonight from the Eldora Speedway in this Joey Mendoza Memorial. Of course, Adam, want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. A big congratulations on your podium finish, and looking forward to seeing you at Dega 1 week from tonight.
All right, you got it. Thanks, Kenneth.
That's Adam Cabot. Of course, decision came his way for the podium. He was unofficially 4th, now officially P3 at the end for the 17.
ends up in P3 for Adam Cabot. And with everything going on, we're obviously going to bring in the owner of Monday Night Racing, CEO, president, whatever you want to call him. Ford Martin has joined us, and Ford will give us a little bit better explanation on kind of the decision there by race control, the admin staff, in changing the results of the finish.
Yeah, so certainly it was not a decision that we wanted to make as a league. But we felt that Landon Huffman held his line on the top, holding his right rear against the wall, and we felt that James Bickford. We want guys to go for wins. We want guys to try to get people loose and go for the wins. But there's a certain line that's crossed when you're blatantly kind of wrecking somebody, and we felt that James Bickford, even though he wanted to pull the slide job after the appeal that he gave, he carried a little much too momentum into the corner and kind of used his right rear and hip check Landon Huffman. We felt that was a little too aggressive, wrecking him to the wall, and that's why we went ahead and made Matt Skinner the winner. We wanted to make it quick. We wanted to make it right, and we implemented the DeGroot Cummings rule from season 1, where Cummings wrecked Nick DeGroot in turn 4 of the season 1 championship, and it resulted in going back and it should have been made where Justin Malolo should have won the race, but that is the decision that we're going to make and that we're going to stand by, and we're going to give Matt Skin the win.
All right, so Max Ken in the win, and there you hear it straight from Race Control, the explanation forward. Thanks for explaining that to us, and we appreciate you coming on up here and making that clear for the fans. And, of course, finishing 17th tonight, wearing many hats out here tonight.
Not a great night for the 07 Nash Chevrolet, but it's part of it. But we want to thank all of our sponsors, Interstate Batteries. Obviously, this an emotional night from the driver chat, at least. This is all about the Mendoza family and thinking about Josh and everybody. I know it's a rough night for sure, but that's what the night's about. But obviously, this is unfortunate. We didn't want to make this call. We want these guys to have fun. I mean, we want these guys let loose. We want people to really express themselves and have fun, and that's what we want this league about. Obviously, we know we have a lot of stuff to work on and get better at, and I realize that, and I put that all on me. That rests on my shoulders to do a better job of running this league. I know we can do better, but we appreciate all of our sponsors: Interstate Batteries, Toughco, BST Shocks, Roasted Gems Coffee, everybody for being a part of it. Derek Columbus Realty. We want to thank all those guys for all their support, and looking forward to next week at Talladega with the Next Gens.
And speaking about how important of a night this is for the Mendoza family, we're lucky enough to be joined by Josh Mendoza, who has been watching on the broadcast. Obviously, was not on in race control tonight, but has been watching with a keen eye. And Josh, just kind of your thoughts on everything we saw tonight. I know a lot was going on.
All I know right now, Joey is up there in heaven smiling down on all of you guys and all of the drama and whatnot, and he's just laughing because it's all for fun. We're all out here to have a good time, and people are, it's hard not to take this stuff seriously, but I know that I had a good time watching, and it was a great distraction. I'm really happy that you guys were able to put this on in Joey's honor. I know he would be absolutely elated with the job the production team did, the drivers did, overall just everything. And I just want to say thank you to Monday Night Racing, Ford Martin, Paul Sutton, Matt Stolnick, and the whole team there, Toughco Flooring for stepping above and beyond to make this race happen in the name of Joey's honor. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who just tuned in to watch. I know that Joey would absolutely have loved to see this happen, and I know he was working his way towards racing on iRacing. We had just gotten him a sim rig for Christmas, and he was working his way towards it, and unfortunately he doesn't have that opportunity to do that anymore. But I just want to say thank you guys, and thank you to everybody who donated, because he absolutely would have loved tonight. So I'm really looking forward to seeing and being back in race control. Tonight was a great night off. It seems like I missed the good fun time. But this weekend on Saturday, Joey will be riding along with Parker Kligerman on the passenger side name rail in the NASCAR Truck Series race. So he'll take one last run around Sonoma, where so many memories were made for many people on Twitch. And if you need someone to root for on Saturday night, Parker Kligerman has Joey Mendoza on board, and he's going to go out there and try and win the race. He said that he thinks he can, so I'm really looking forward to that.
And for those of our audience that are watching outside of Twitch or perhaps don't have the chat pulled up, where if they want to donate to the Memorial Fund, where can they go to do that?
On GoFundMe, you can go to GoFundMe.com and then search up the Joey Mendoza Memorial Fund. On there, you'll find all the information about Joey. You'll get a nice, good photo of Joey and get an idea of who he was. But if you want to donate, thank you. We really appreciate it. We're using it to help buy some tickets for friends and family so they can go out there and watch Joey run, as well as do many other things to memorialize Joey and make sure that his legacy lives on for many years to come.
Well, all right, Josh. Again, this is a big family, and we're all thinking about you. We're uplifting you and your entire family, as you saw earlier, and we're all just thinking about you, and we love you.
I appreciate that, Blake. I love you guys all too. And again, the family, we really appreciate it. Every single word of condolence and just all of that has helped us through this grieving process. And thank you guys. We really appreciate it. I love everybody out there. So thank you guys.
And it's Josh Mendoza, our race control, and I think there's really no better note to leave on, Kenneth and Jacob, than that. I know we get caught up in a lot of, the action and the drama and everything that's going out because this is a competition. But again, that is what is most important here, coming together to remember a great person. Who unfortunately is just no longer with us, but is with us in spirit. So for everybody here at Podium eSports, for Brian Bauer down in the virtual production trailer, for Ford Martin and Paul Sutton at Monday Night Racing, of course, Paul Sutton in race control filling in for Josh Mendoza tonight, Gary Sexton, John Theodore at Podium eSports, for our camera builder, Dougie Beard, our overlay builder, Michael Hall, Cameron Aubernon on Podium eSports social media, and for our broadcast crew in the booth tonight, Blake McCandless, Kenneth Blato, and Jacob Hitz saying so long from Eldora Speedway for the Joey Mendoza Memorial, where once again we bid you farewell and congratulations to Max Kinnon, your winner tonight.